What's going on, ladies and gents, and the usual suspects? What's happening? Let's do our old normal. Let me see what we got here. Audio check on this, and we'll see what we come up with here. I see everybody's in there, just saying hello to everybody. I figured I would put it on a little bit earlier so everybody can jump in there and have a little convo before we jump on. So hope everybody's doing well. Let's see here. Okay, audio is confirmed. It's doing well. Okay, I hope everybody had a good week. I was busy, and I'll probably be busy tomorrow again at work. Really busy this time, but that's fine. You know, a day goes by faster, we can get it done quicker, right? And a day goes by faster, which, yeah, that sucks. But that's immaterial. Anyway, guys, let's see who's in there. Well, like I said, all the usual suspects. Mike Knapp's in there. Clerks 93. Renee Cruz. Let's see, James Dixon. What's going on, James? Planetary Protector's in there. Says, hey, everyone. Mimi's in there. Hello, Mimi. Six is in there. What's going on, Six? Josh D's in the Hizu. What's going on, Josh? Oh, Josh. Let's see. Third Eye Open. What's going on, man? I don't think I caught you in the last few times. Were you in there? I got people jumping in here so many times, it's kind of hard to tell what's what sometimes. What's going on, Farmer? Good to see you in there. He says, smash that like button and share, share, share. Absolutely. Let's see. Chris Blake is in there. What's going on, Chris? Let's see. David Clark's in there. Hi, Chris. And all spring is in the air. Let's see. What the heck? Oh, this thing just jumped on me. Hold on. Said something about having a woodpecker in the yard today. Yeah, funny enough, this is what's crazy. Where I usually go, there's like a park next to my house, and we can go down there. Them things, you can hear them all over the place. Some of them, you can hear them hitting hollow trees, and some of them, you know, they're just a normal tree, meaning not a dead tree. And you can definitely tell a difference in the tone of them things, right? Pretty funny. But I was like, yes, sure sign of spring, baby. So I'm loving that. Mimi, you said, why is the stream so early? I figured I'd, like I said, put it on there early for you guys so everybody can get in there and just kind of do a little rapping before we jumped on. Let's see. Let's put on my mug here. Skip everybody. That's correct. Let's see here. Make it a little bit bigger here. Let's see. Mags K, what's going on, Mags? He said, happy Hangout Friday, Chris, and followers. Oh, yeah. Hope you're doing well, Mags. Jay McGuffey's in there. Says, hey, everyone. Adam B, what's going on? What's up with this guy? Sky 37 Bingo. Let's see. This thing kind of jumps on me. I hate it when it does this. Let's see. Sex, I like that. Stoned again, so there it is. There's that. Let's see. Third Eye Open, like I said, is in there. Michael Ferdinand. I did, Michael. You said, hey, Chris, I hope you had a chance to catch the link about pictures from the from the reply you sent. It starts at 1 hour 30 minutes. Explains about pictures being sent from Mars and beyond and new tech they are trying. Yeah, but you know as well as I know, Michael, because I know it talked about, remember it says in there about laser and how they would send like all kinds of images and stuff like that through laser and light. Well, I believe they've already been doing that, and I believe the military's had that set up for quite some time, and that is now making it sound like new tech. Now, it might be new tech in maybe somewhat areas, meaning maybe not the, higher ups as far as that. Maybe, because I know the military's been using that for years. So why couldn't they implement that, on the rovers and everything else? Now in 1997, when we had the Sojourner, and of course the lander there, probably not so. 2004 when we had the Opportunity and Spirit, they might even had it then. Let's say they didn't. But you can almost bet, because they're getting more and more high-tech and everything else, that they probably could do upgrades to these orbiters and do all kinds of crazy stuff, and they probably had the optics to do it. And of course, the radio and, send it by light, which is so much faster, and you can condense a whole lot more information through light. I absolutely believe that they're getting pristine photos back here at Earth at the DSM. So the Deep Space Network. I absolutely believe they're getting pristine stuff there. And I'll be willing to bet it's within minutes. And I don't mean like 20 minutes. I mean like within a minute, stuff like that. Because light, if it's condensed too, you get all kinds of lot more information over light than you do radio wave, right? Even if you have a combination of amplitude and frequency modulation, amplitude modulation and frequency, which is FM and AM, even if you were to use an AM and a sideband, you can get only so much information. Light you can condense so much more, right? So I think they've been doing that for quite some time. Yes, Renee. Yep. Said BMT Subway, Chris. Absolutely. Gots to have it. Well, don't have to have it, but I like having it on a Friday before we jump on here. Besides, the wife is a little tired at the end of the week. We just said, heck with it. Just chill out and have a little something from there. Big Mac Chris, no. Yeah, we try to do the Subway thing on Friday, And an iced tea, yes. Martin Penwright, what's going on? Good to see you there, Martin. Martin, all right. Philosopher searching for extraterrestrials. Hi, friend. Where's Chris? He must be eating. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and jump down here all the way down to the bottom, guys. If I missed anybody jumping in there saying hello, please do it again. I don't want to be so far behind in this thing, and people are going, man, he's like 3 hours behind. Not really, but we end up being way behind if we do them all. So, what's going on, Pete? Mr. Pete Ferrero's in there. Yep, NASA up to the old tricks with Percy. Yep, absolutely. Jason Bertoli, what's going on, Jason? Good to see you in there. David Clark, really nice moon video, Chris. I couldn't figure out why that tower thing was leaning so much, but definitely that one large pipe was amazing. Yeah, I mean, even if you don't believe one thing, you can look at something else and go, well, that looks kind of weird, like that long pipe like we were talking about. And I didn't notice that until after when I looked and I went, wait a minute. This thing's literally coming through the crater wall. What's the chance of that, what looks like a dot in that black area, round circle, and what's on the other side of that wall happens to look like a pipe? What's the chances of that? I mean, come on, Really, Adam B. He said, I talked about a missing guy the other week and my photos, etc., got deleted by Google. Yeah, I mean, it's like, dude, they're doing some major censoring, right? And this is the reason why, like I said, I jumped on, Odyssey to try to get like a different platform too. And who knows if that's going to be the only one. Because here's the thing, right? Trying to get the word out, you're on one simple platform, and then all of a sudden they go, let's just go ahead and censor him too while we're at it. In other words, we'll keep him, conspiracy theory, just keep him over there. And we'll just keep them over there, and then a lot of people won't get their notifications when a new video or a live feed comes on. This way we can shorten his viewing numbers and the people who can find him. I mean, come on. What I like about Odyssey, and I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know everything there is to know about that site yet, but what I do like about it, and this is kind of weird because YouTube frowns on this, you can literally take, I guess it's called like Bitcoin earnings. So in other words, If I was to just, let's say any one of you ladies and gents have a channel on there, right? And I go on there and I like it. I actually get a Bitcoin for that or X amount. So you can use that to spend on your own channel. In other words, if I say, okay, anybody who's giving me any money if they have, or they sub to you, you get Bitcoin for that. Okay, I could turn around and flip that over. And if I spend it on my own channel, they'll actually make it more visible. Imagine that. Just the opposite of YouTube, right? They frown on any kind of third-party thing. Oh, that's wrong, and they'll eliminate your channel. That's just what they do. So I love the idea that you can do that. That's pretty cool. So even if I don't even care Bitcoin. If I could turn on and flip it into the channel, it gives more views to the channel, getting the truth out more. Now, yes, it will, you got to be fully honest here, right? So it will actually help with monetary as well, right? So that's a cool thing in itself. But my biggest thing is getting the views and get people watching and seeing this stuff. So being on two platforms, it's awesome. Why doesn't YouTube implement this kind of thing? They don't. I could care crap about the money on Odyssey. I really don't care. The idea that you could flip it back into your channel is kind of cool, though. I think you guys will agree on that, right? Now, I don't know if any of you guys are actually on there or been on there for a while. Maybe you can give me some insight, drop some insights on here and all the cool little things, because I haven't really had a chance to. I got up there. The cool thing about that site is that you can, once you get on, you can literally link it to your YouTube, and all the videos went right up there. I didn't have to put them up independently, so that was cool in a sense, right? But if I have to, I'll just lay this YouTube dormant, and I'll start posting up there. What I don't get is that they make money off your videos by monetizing. So in other words, you say, I want to monetize. So as soon as they do, they put their ads onto your videos. So they're making money off you or any other channel that's doing these kind of videos. Any videos, doesn't matter what it is. It could be about children. It could be about military. It could be about anything. And they're making money on this. So why would you want to hinder views to the channel? Doesn't that kind of shoot yourself in the foot? Or am I wrong here? It simply makes no sense. I would not do that. If it was me and I was the owner of YouTube, I'd be like, let these guys ride. As long as they're not doing something really weird, like garbage that shouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? Like about little children and weird stuff. Yeah, that I get. But as far as this, come on. It's foolishness. Custom Taylor 1, what's going on? He said, hey, everyone. Hope you're doing good there. Tony Gibbs is in there. He said, Chris, nice of you to work so hard. It's definitely worth getting the truth out, so we all thank you for that. Well, I appreciate that, Tony. That means a lot, truthfully. Jay McGuffey said the whole system got to be for the lengths of time the ET gods been messing up there. Yeah, exactly. Yep. AJ Brodog, what's going on, man? He said NASA, never a straight answer. Yeah, I mean, people have been saying that for years, man, and rightfully so, right? Like I said, I love everything about NASA. I don't have a problem with anything with NASA. You can see it on the wall here. If I get out of the way, you can see right there, NASA, I need my space. So I love, technology. I love the idea of being spacefaring. I love all that stuff. However, I do not like one bit, and I know you guys share the frustration, is that they're not telling the truth about what they're really finding here. In fact, I'm going to actually, if I can get her email address, there's a woman, Emily Wachtalager, I think her name is, where my buddy Pete actually emailed her a long time ago. And he's the one that taught me about Photoshop as far as getting into the raw plates. Well, he actually emailed her a couple times. Oh, yeah, well, she beat her on the bush, basically said it's pareidolia that he's got, blah, 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 blah. We're going to show her the real deal. And I'm going to ask her bluntly, why do you people insist on lying to the public? Here's a couple pictures for you. Tell me this is all pareidolia. And I promise you, because what happened to him, she had a couple emails back and forth with him, shut him down, never answered him again. So probably blocked his emails. Why? Why would you do that? Especially he was very professional when he talked to her because, again, he was a lithographics expert for I forget what it was, 13 or 15 years. So he can pretty much read photos pretty darn well. And with his skills, coupled with Photoshop, he can pretty much see right through them photos. So, and I think he even said that to her. And, of course, that's when everything went blank and never heard a word from her again. Imagine that, right? So, yeah. Not good. They know what's up, but they're going to play, oh, you guys are just seeing things. Come on now. Let's see. Martin Penright said, evening, Chris. Was watching your last video. Looked good. Had notification for live stream. We'll watch later. Nothing wrong with that, Martin. Nothing wrong with that. OBX, Lady One, how are you? Good to see you in there. Love the alien little skull. That's cool. Adam B, is that who you were talking about last time? You said, turns out he's still there. That's what's up in the sky guy. Yeah, you're talking about Will. That's who you were talking about. I was trying to figure out who you're talking about. But yeah, what I heard, his site went down for a little bit and then came back up. Is that true? I haven't really been on his site, I'll be honest with you. I know he's got a lot of stuff on there. A lot of people, of course, I'm going to use the term researchers too, because they're investigating these photos, and of course, they've got a chat going on in there and all kinds of other stuff. And I heard the site was down for a short time, and then, of course, it was back up. So I don't know if he was doing some kind of maintenance on the server or what he was doing, but, you know, either way. Let's see. AJ Bro, yeah, Bro Dog, yeah, he said they are photoshopping Mars like a coloring book. Sadly, that's true. Absolutely. Let's see. Jay, there you go. Jay McGuffey says, loving the blue skies and the red planet. And like I said, guys, I didn't have a chance to look for, if you watch my video, I said I had something else that was from Twitter. What was his name? I think his name was Jesus Fernandez, and we'll have a look at it. But he has a side-by-side of this one photo, and you can see where the Perseverance is taking a photo of the underbelly where the helicopter is, right? And where they had those tubes, that plate that dropped from the bottom. On the left-hand side, one photo's got a mountain, the other one doesn't. It's the same photo. Hasn't changed angles, hasn't done anything, and yet it's there. But what I did find in there was other stuff right in front of this rover. One of you guys commented on the latest video saying, why don't these guys go up to these things? Are they afraid it's going to, you know, are they afraid if they run it over, it's going to hurt the rover? No, they're actually going to inspect it. Think about it. I mean, you know, if I have this thing drive up to it, it's going to analyze the photo. I'm saying analyze the photo. It's going to analyze each object with these high-def cameras that's on the turret, the actual arm, and it's going to get right up close and personal, probably laser blasted or whatever they got to do to it. I know the laser is actually on the head, but how do we know there's not one on that turret arm too? Hit it, and then it has an analyzer. It can analyze the actual smoke coming off it and tell what it's made of. But it's made to stop, and maybe it has this algorithm where it knows the difference between artificial and intelligent just from the metals it looks at. Who knows? I don't know. But if it stops and analyzes, okay, it does its own thing and analyzes it, okay, and off it takes off backwards and goes checks out something else. And as long as that arm is, it could probably just kind of study it all the way around, look around it, up, you know, try to go side view, whatever the hell it can do, right? We don't know. And that's what's crazy. You know, you could bet, listen, they're taking pristine photos of whatever's on the ground there. Absolutely. Tony Gibbs says, some of the info they get seems way too soon. You are onto something with that laser data transfer. Well, remember when they had landed the Perseverance, and it was like what? Within minutes, they literally got a photo back. So either they're using laser, or they had landed already prior. How would anybody know it? Could you prove it? Nope. We're only looking at animations, so we wouldn't know. This thing could have landed a week ago for all we know. They already had the helicopter up and going, checking out pitches, checking out things before they even started showing, hey, the big show. Because all they're going to do now is just show the videos and the pictures of the rover coming down from the crane and everything else. They're stills. So they can show that anytime. I mean, so one of the two is going on right there, right? At least that's, in my opinion, I believe that's what's going on. Marty Lewis, what's happening? What's going on? Hey, Sean, how are you? He said, hiya, Chris. How are you? You should try a VR headset on some of those Mars images. It's quite an eye-opener. You know what? I actually thought about that. I'll bet that's absolutely awesome. I need to check that out. I'll bet that's pretty cool. Cameron Davis, what's going on? He said, how are you, Mars and beyond? I'm doing well. I hope you're doing good, Cameron. Oh, I know. I hate it when that happens, Adam. You said wasn't being paranoid or anything. My photos got proper destroyed, and my drive crazy. And I spent hours on Souls doing work on them. See, it reminds me when you just said that. I went out and bought a 4 terabyte external hard drive. Now I still got the little one here. That should just keep all the photos off my computer. What I did was I've still got the little 500 gigger. So I could just keep the photos off the computer, so we're not, bogging the thing down or whatever. But I've got all the work now on the 4 terabyte. So, and that's on a flip of a switch. So now, if somebody was to get in my computer right now, They couldn't even get to it and even do anything to it. So I got it completely shut down at a flip of a switch. Actually, 2 switches. I can just switch them both off. You're not getting to that thing no matter how much you try. So, and when I need the information, just flip it on. The drive comes online. I can just get in there and do what I got to do. So again, guys, this is because of your support. We were able to do that, get the external drive. So kudos to you and thank you. But it just makes it worth it. Now I can get into there and find anything I need. And of course, you can put quite a bit on there on a 4 terabyte. Of course, at some point, we'll have to upgrade. You know, that's going to happen because you'll fill it with all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, you know. But, yeah, I mean, that's why you got to be safe. You know, I shut mine off and I shut it down when it's not in use. And just a little 500 gig. Or if they get into that, I could care less. But good luck to them trying to even get into my computer, period. Good luck with that. So, yeah. But, yeah, it sucks, dude, when you have all kinds of work on it. And then somehow something gets either hacked or something goes stupid on your computer and you lose it all. And you're like, oh, my God, now what? You know, and the biggest thing is, too, you want to have it all backed up, whether it's your computer, the work on your computer, in case it does go, it just burns up, motherboard takes a dump. It's a computer, right? Anything could happen. So you got to be prepared for it. So if this thing went down today and, I don't know, the thing burned up, no problem. Take the hard drive, put it on the other computer. I'm good to go. I'm ready to rock again. So, yeah. Plus, I'm probably going to have a backup for it anyway, so I can back up the whole computer. So this way I have 2 of them in case one of them goes down or, you know, somehow it just throws a blue screen of death. You know, so it's good to be prepared, you know, especially when you're doing that kind of work on it. It sucks not having some kind of backup and then all of a sudden, bam, done. Les Sweet, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Tony, you said definitely like seeing the real colors. Never understood the whole orange filter thing. Well, again, like I said, it's kind of like this photo here we're seeing on the screen. Everything on the right-hand side of it, you see all this orange kind of stuff. Well, just put the filter over the actual lens. Nothing has its own color. Perfect. And nothing stands out. It could be lighter. It could be darker. Like, in other words, almost like a gray, a black, and a white. But everything becomes orangey as opposed to its own independent color. Therefore, you don't catch on. That's the whole idea of it. Michael Ferdinand, you said that's what I mean. They can't get way better photos and clearer. So why are we showing crap photos? Well, like I said, I believe that they're getting pristine photos. In fact, they're probably getting like a 4K, right? But think about it. If let's say they take 2 photos, you would have your own digital computer, and you say, digital camera. I'm sorry. Take a photo of something. Let's say it's a 4K camera. It's going to be absolutely pristine. Well, dial in the settings. Go down to like 2 meg. Boom, take the photo. So now you take it, you give that to the CGI department. They do their work on it. They send it out to the public. Now, don't get me wrong. It doesn't have to be a thumbnail size, but a very small kind of grainy piece of crap, right? So when you zoom into it, it breaks apart. And because it's not high res, they can do all they want to that photo. And you just say, oh, it's because it's low res. That's why we're getting these weird artifacts. No. This is the reason why you can see parts of it, like I showed you in this last video, where you can see like this weirdness. Like you can see the pixels have been messed with, and then the other side, not so bad. Wait a minute. If the whole photo was low res, which they usually are anyway, right? But why is this side clearer? Much better detail. And this is like all blurred up and waved out and just weirdness all around it. There's a reason for it. They're doing an overlay on that parts of them photos. That's all there is to it. But you could bet the very first photos that come off there are pristine. They're seeing everything with crystal clarity like you would probably not believe. What's going on, Daniel? Good to see you in there. He said, hello, Chris. Good to see you in there. Let's see. Daniel, you said, what? Me at the used or play, did it me at the used, They use the red filter and don't understand why they don't show what we would see if we were standing on the planet. Well, again, that's exactly the reason. Because they're not gonna, they don't want you to see what's really there. If they put a red filter over everything has the same color, and that's not what they want. It's kind of like they did with the old moon photos, right? Although those are really pristine, within reason, they've gotten real close. You're talking about an orbiter that's only 75 miles off the surface of the lunar surface, right? So think about that. They're going to be really, really good photos. And they had state-of-the-art cameras on for that time, right? And I'm sure they were upgradable, kind of like the Hubble and stuff like that, right? So you can bet they took pristine, but all they did was back in the day, in the 60s and 70s, they just put a piece of acetate over it, and they just block out whatever they want. One of you guys said something about why is the shadows going in different directions? Well, because some of them are not shadows. And I mean, if you have one shadow on the left-hand side, like let's say most of the craters are, you got a shadow on the left-hand side. Well, why is there some on the right-hand side? And I don't mean like slightly lower than left, because that could change from the height of the actual crater wall and whatnot, right? But when you got them on the right-hand side, totally opposite side, no. These are being drawn or marked in so you can't see it. But we've seen plenty of things. Yeah, so there's plenty of things in there that you can see. And things that can't be seen with a telescope, Mr. Bruce. Yeah. That's funny. No, actually, they're not better than your telescope. The stock photos are better than your telescope. They're a lot clearer. Some of them are garbage. I'll agree with you there. But you're not going to get it closer than that. There's no way you can get closer than them stock photos. Jay McGuffey said USB. Yeah, you could do that too. Put them on a USB and save your work there too. Well, as long as it's big enough, right? Big enough drive. Now, let's see. Adam B said, like Chris, I've been on this shanty many, many years. Yeah, I mean, you could do a lot of different, things to save your work, because like I said, I've had that happen to me where either a thumb drive went stupid on me, and of course you got to have the computer try to correct it and get it right, and then somehow you lose your work. It sucks. So you're better off to have it in different, drives. And like I said, mine's locked out. Like I said, first of all, I got to try to get into my computer the way I got everything, firewalled and everything else. And then on top of that, even if they did, it wouldn't matter if they can't get to my drive. So, like I said, I just shut off a couple of switches. They're not getting into it at all. So I can't lose my work. They could, even if they said, "Ooh, we're smart enough to get in that and blow up the computer," that's fine. I've got 3 more, and then I'll just firewall them even better. And I still got my work. Plug it in there, plug and play, ready to rock. So, it doesn't bother me what they do. They can try. Long Island, New York, $13.95. Bruce will never be as good as Chris. He does his own work, and I can appreciate that. But the only thing I don't like is this. Anybody who does work, I don't care what work you do, it's kind of like doing automotive work. Now, if the guy says to you, it's a brand new car coming out, and he's doing work on it, and he says, I can fix this by doing simply this. Okay, but they don't show you, then you don't believe them. It's kind of like the reason why I show the links to all of these photos. You can get them and check them yourself. How do you do that when you're doing a live feed with a telescope or even a regular camera? Let's say you're doing a camera on, like I said, a mechanic doing his work. How do you? So in other words, I can fake it all day long and you would never know it. because there's no way you can vet it yourself because you can't look at the photos. So that's why I don't like that kind of work. It's cool that he's doing it, and I like what he does. And like I said, we've had it out a couple times, but I dropped all that. I mean, I don't know if he's being the same way still. I don't know. But, I just put that stuff aside. I'm willing to give everybody a second chance at some point. But to me, I just don't. I'm guessing if I had a telescope, I'd do the same. In other words, I'd try to do the same work. Or, try to look for other, like at Mars and different other planets and stuff just in the sky itself. Look for the ISS, all kinds of cool stuff. Like there's a couple of the channels that do that. And I love the work. But I don't like it because, like I said, you can be right off the bat. Again, nobody knows whether you're telling the truth or you're making this stuff up. Now, that's not saying that he is making it up. I'm just saying, but there's no way to vet that. And this is the reason why a lot of people say his stuff is garbage. They'll say, oh, his work's trash. I'm not going to say that because here's the thing. I don't know what he's doing. And again, nobody knows what he's doing. So you don't know, unless, the only way they could prove that to me, it's kind of like Crow 777 did, or 777. And there was another guy that was on there that was actually telling me he said, oh, Crow's not lying, this, that, and the other. I said, well, I'll tell you what, this is the way you prove this to me. One was on the West Coast at the time, now he's in the Northeast, that was Crow. And one of them, and this was about the moon, the lunar wave or whatever it was, whatever. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do for you. You get on there with him at the same time. Now, obviously, it's not going to be that very same time because you're both on different ends of the United States, right? One's in the East, one's in the West. Take it at this, meaning that same time. Focus. Get on the phone. I'm doing it right now. Okay, cool. Do it. If you both get the same stuff, same equipment, I'll believe you. Until then, and I guess what? I never heard another word from him again. Because, you know what? Again, unless you can give me a link or I can vet this myself, it's 50-50 for me. You know what I'm saying? Well, this thing actually jumped on me. Hold on. Let me go back here. I don't think I went. I don't know if it went all the way back here. Hold on. Yeah, this thing did jump quite a bit. Good Lord. Trying to go back to where it was, where we were just talking about. Okay. Jay McGuffey said extra PC, decent operating system, ISB. Yeah, I mean, you got to have a backup too. You know what I'm saying? It just makes sense, right? Josh D, you said the official reason they give us for the filter is that this is for the geologist. LOL. Yeah, so put a filter over it so you can hide details. They're not going to want to see that. We all know that's just BS. Because let's say there's certain rocks and they're getting them in pristine photos, right? We know they are. The technology they got today is going to be unprecedented. Even back when Curiosity in 2012, it's all state of the art, made by Caltech. We know that. So it just makes sense that, if they're that pristine, the geologist is not going to go, yeah, why don't you do this for me? Why don't you go ahead and throw an orange filter over that so we can't see exactly what... In other words, you see it like a kind of a weird rock. You say, okay, this is slate or this is whatever, so on and so. But if you drop a filter on it, how the hell can they see that? Unless they're doing tests, hitting it with a laser, and then checking it out with the spectrum analyzer, right? That's the only way they're going to know this. Bro Dog, you said, I heard the sounds Perseverance was getting, and it sounded like vehicles or people. Man, it was crazy. Yeah, it had that weird kind of sound to it, didn't it? They had two recordings. One of them was kind of ho-hum, right? And one of them was like the wind. And if you remember, it was kind of like the Insight. The Insight, where you can, and it had like, what, 4 recordings on it, I think. And you can hear it sounds like something coming from the distance underneath, getting louder and louder and louder, and then it just kept going. Now, it's a possibility it was wind, because you can hear wind kick up, and then, of course, it kicks back out, meaning it just drops down. But then we heard the one that had this, like, clanging. It got repeatedly faster, slowed down, stopped, and you could just hear these weird noises. Okay. What could they... I forget what they even said about that. It was just crazy. But, yeah. Colleen Barnes, you said, hola, everybody. Happy Friday. The last 2 videos were good as usual, Chris. Well, I appreciate that, Colleen. Good to see you in there. Hope you're doing well. Jay McGuffey, you said, I bet there's a range of damaged craft on Mars. Well, we don't know, right? I mean, if what we're seeing is artifacts left over from, a civilization on Mars, they had to have something there. And let's say they didn't. Let's say they didn't have the technology to have space flight. Okay. You could bet they had some other way to transport themselves, right? Kind of like what we do. Let's say prior to going to the moon, prior to sending anything out in space, we still had ways to get around, right? We still had vehicles, horses, whatever. So, first steam and electric car was, 1893? So we had all of these things. Now, of course, you can see how we progress so quickly, so fast. So, yeah. Let's see. Which reminds me, I got something I'm going to show you guys. And then I'm going to throw something. It might mind boggle you, but it comes out to the same thing. In other words, it's like take 2 roads to a destination, but you'll still get there. You'll see what I mean by that too. Dale Rogers, what's going on? He said, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Dale. I want to try to get back down to the bottom here, seeing this thing jumped on me here. It's like if you just start to scroll, all of a sudden it drops down. Disclosure TV said, Chris, Amora, actually it was Umora is what it's supposed to be, has been in the news lately. Do you think they are trying to hide what Umora really was, an intelligent craft? Well, we know we had that scientist who spoke out about that, right? And his deductions were, because even though it's slung by our sun, there's no tail to it. You usually get ice on it. At least a normal comet will actually have ice. It'll melt and it'll shed these water vapors and crystals, and yet it didn't do it. It didn't have any of that. It just tumbled through space, came into our solar system, and right back out again. So the way he describes it, he's thinking it's more intelligently made and not like just a chunk of rock. And of course, a lot of his peers will laugh at him, but that doesn't mean he's a wacko. It just means he's on the fringe kind of thing, as opposed to, and he explains, I don't know if you've seen that video, where he explains, they just think it's all about, look at me, I'm a scientist, I can find this stuff. But they're not really opening their minds, and they're not really studying. They're just saying, look at me, I'm a scientist, and I need credit for that, and all this other crap. And clearly, that's not what science is all about. Research isn't all about. It's not about bragging what you got. It's what you bring to the table. And that's what it's all about. So, that's, to me, that makes more sense. I think the way he describes it, it sounds like something unnatural. Now, whether it's a craft or, I don't know. To me, it just seems like it would be more unnatural, meaning it could be something like that. Oops. Damn it. I hate when this thing jumps like this. Let's see who else is in there. Mars, the Second Genesis is in there. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Renee von Oosterhood's in there. What's going on? He said, I recently saw a video of Alien Hunter. I really think the moon is made of steel, iron, or something like it, and is hollow, and that moon is covered with space debris dust. You know, knowing what NASA did, as far as dropping their rocket section, I think it was the third stage, dropped it on the moon purposely. They didn't bring seismometers up there for no reason. Now, they claim it's, well, we think it's still active inside. There's moonquakes and stuff like that, which there are. But they did it for a reason. They dropped this thing just to see what it would do. They must have had an inkling that this thing is somehow, maybe it has hollow areas in it, or that it's hollow, period. I'm guessing they tried to do a core sample. Remember they said they were trying to go down with that core tool, and they said they kept getting stuck, like they could not go past what they were trying to go past, because they found metals in there that are hardened steel that they didn't think they would be on the moon, right? So after they did that, and this thing rang like a bell, and of course we've seen photos with things on the surface of the moon that are clearly not craters or Martian lunar surface, meaning it's like they're equivalent to like a butte or something like that, right? It was nothing like that at all. We seen what looked like spacecraft, like desolate spacecraft just laying on their sides, different structures. That really large structure we seen was miles high, that video I did. It's right there. It's as simple as right there. And there's not a telescope out there that's going to get the photos I did. Especially that big structure, the two structures standing together. Not going to happen. I mean, if they want to call zooming into a photo that looks like a bunch of blotches, structures, I guess they can do that. You know, but I don't see it. I don't think it is. Yeah, Mimi, you said rainbow drop sounds. Yeah, that's what it kind of sounded like. And then ding, 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 ding. But then you notice it just stopped. Did it rain that quick and just stopped? It was just kind of weird, right? I think you're talking about the Insight. But yeah. Darren, AM. This is an important question that has a kicker. How long ago do you think the cataclysm hit Mars? According to NASA, it's millions of years, probably billions of years, right? I find it hard to believe, especially if we go back to Gale Crater. There's a water cycle there, okay? They also have windstorms there. So unless this metal, some of the stuff we're seeing on the ground, is all completely aluminum, I don't see how it could last that many years. Even being windblown, even though they claim like a 300-mile-an-hour wind is probably like an equivalent to like 50, 60 miles an hour. Let's call it 30 even, just for hypothetical. Then, even then, after that many years, it has to erode that steel. So I don't think it's been that long ago. And then again, we put that puzzle piece together where it says about, you know, what were they saying? Something. I'm trying to remember exactly how they worded this. Anyway, it's the way they say it anyway. The way they claim it's like thousands of millions of years, whatever. And again, why is this still here? These things that we're seeing on the ground. And then again, you couple it with what Dr. Brandon says, John Brandenburg. He claims that he saw, or there was a gentleman that's seen these two large explosions in the lower atmosphere of Mars. And it wasn't on the ground, it was in the lower atmosphere. To me, that could do mass destruction without blowing up these structures. Think about it. So, well, probably just depending on the size of these things, right? So you start putting these things together. And that was in 1941. Start putting it all together. Was it that long ago, or was it not? Maybe the Great Cataclysm happened way back then, but that doesn't mean if there was a civilization there that they died off. Maybe they still lived through it, like we could probably do today. Unless, of course, there was a rock the size of Texas, you're pretty much doomed. Unless, of course, you go into underground, and then you could slowly come back out, meaning once nuclear winter's over and everything gets back to normal. And, of course, we have that seed vault. We can take out the seed, start growing stuff again, and the planet would be up and thriving again in X amount of years, like full-blown kind of thing, right? So I don't think that particular one was that long ago, and that's probably what did that civilization in. And now, you guys probably have your thoughts. You can let me know. I guess the thing, I didn't go back far enough in this. Jeez, what the hell? Bro Dog says, shout out from VA Mountains, Virginia Mountains. What's going on? Ricardo, what's going on? Ricardo Petrozzi's in there. Says, I've witnessed the best security on firewall PC defeated so easily by simple social engineered tricks. The best defense is definitely not to visit. Yeah, well, that's true too. Questionable sites. Yeah. You get into bad crap, or I've seen this happen a million times to people. Whether it's through like eBay, you hear this on eBay, or the PayPal or something that gets hacked, or some weird crap, or they go on these weird smut sites and they wonder why they got hacked. It's like, I mean, come on, right? Yeah. Daniel Webster says, Texas born and bred. What's going down? What's going on down in Texas? Long Island, New York. Yeah, he went way back. He said, Bruce sees all used to trash Mars now. And somebody said he still does. And you know what? That's on him. That's the way I look at it. That's on him. If he's not grown up enough to get by all that, and actually proceed with his own life, that's pretty sad. That really is sad. Sucks to be him. Really sucks to be him. Tony, I guess you're talking to Bruce. He said, I have a great telescope. Nothing beats Chris's work. Besides Mars, there's still a little ball, and you can only see the side of the moon they want you to see. And that's pretty much it. See, a lot of these photos I see, and I've shown you this, was on the other side of the moon. Can't see it with a telescope. So you can argue his point all he wants, but it's futile, because when you see something that's on the other side, nobody's going to see that. And the whole thing is, like I said, unless you get a telescope that's 75 feet, or miles rather, 75 miles off that surface, you're not going to get the photos that thing can get. Not going to happen in a million years. Tony said, the rods I saw were a result of a camera that didn't have a real fast shutter speed. Not saying that's all, but they have reproduced them pretty well. Let me try to get back down here now. All right, let me drop way down to the bottom here, because I had to go back a little bit, so I'm probably missing a whole bunch of these. So what I'm going to do is, anybody posted a question, or said anything, just go ahead and do it again. Philip Wethington, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Olin Creel, like I think I said hello to you. William Johnson's in there. What's going on, William? John Sharp is in there. What's going on? He said early tonight. Yep. Well, like I said, I put on a little bit early. I think it was like 10, 12 minutes early. So you guys can get in there and kind of throw some bull around a little bit there, here and there, right? Mazda Second Genesis, you said, Chris, well, you're basically saying me. Did you get my photos of the 3 hippo sculptures? I can see how it kind of looks like that. Unfortunately, I didn't see it that way. Now, I did see some of them where it kind of looked like it was kind of sticking out, and it kind of did have that look to it. And I think you sent something else, too. It wasn't just those, was it? There was something else. There was another photo that you sent. And like I said, I don't usually see what looks like creatures or people Maybe my mind's just wired differently. And I'm not saying what you saw wasn't there. I just don't, my mind's not wired that way. I see structural, I see mechanical, I see things like that more than anything else, like I've described that before. And it's not to say that people who do see these are like just pareidolia. I'm just saying that I don't see it, at least. But it did, I got to admit, it did kind of look like it had the face of it sticking out of the sand. Now, is it that? Is it like is it a sculpture? Is it a statue? And if it is, in fact, like a hippo-type animal, in a structure, in a sculpture type thing, it kind of did look like that. I'll give you that. I don't know. I think you sent something else, though. I'm not sure of that, because I've been sent a couple photos over the week. So let me jump back down here. Cliff Weisner, you said the moon is an observatory. That's not the first time I heard that either. Absolutely not. Jay McGuffey said Bruce trashed Mr. BBB 333, and he's a cool guy. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Anybody he sees fit is some kind of threat, trash him right off the bat. It's the way to do it. That's just the way it is. Nacho Libre, what's happening? It's good to see you in there. Renee Vaughn says, hit the like button. Bam. Les Sweet, you said, or the question was, they use metal detectors and magnets to help find meteorites. Shouldn't the moon be similar material? Well, if they're finding these kind of metals on it, you would think so. I don't know. But you can bet they've done all kinds of tests on it. They might have known. They probably knew this already. And I remember there was what was it, guys? There was two scientists from the Soviet Union or Russia where they claimed they had like a book or some kind of paper on this where they absolutely believed and had proof that the moon was hollow and believed there was some kind of civilization that was on it as well as inside the moon. I don't know. All we can do is read it and say, okay, does it sound plausible? Does it sound realistic? You know, you can always be 50-50 when it comes to stuff like that. Unless you can vet it yourself, then you go, oh, absolutely. You know what I mean? Then you can say, yeah, I've seen it for myself, so therefore it's there, right? Jason Bertoli said, if the Earth spinning produces gravity, then how did the astronauts stay on the moon if it doesn't spin? Well, it still had a little bit of gravity, and you can see the way they walked and everything else, right? So, you know, we have a lot stronger gravity here, and that doesn't. I forget what it is. It's like 1/6 or it's like 0.006 or something to that effect. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. And but they still had just enough. But you notice if they bounced, they bounced pretty high. Now, you know, if they were on Earth, clearly they wouldn't have been able to do what they did. Exactly, Long Island. You said, never forget Phobos has a monolith. Yes, absolutely does. And pretty tall one at that. What's going on in the arts and crafts? Good to see you in there. Hope you're doing well. Oops. Okay, Josh D, you said the paper about hollow moon can be found online, but in Russian, only need to use a translator. Yeah, we'll definitely check that out. Because I remember seeing something about it, and somebody had, I don't know if they put part of that in English, and I was reading some of that. It was pretty interesting. Adam the Martian, the architect of Mars. He said the same beings of Mars were on Earth, same cultures on Mars and in ancient Earth. Well, there's a lot of similarities, a lot of connections, right? Like if you go to the Cydonia city, as they called it, face of Cydonia, because they have a lot of what looks like pyramids and shapes and everything else, just like we have in Egypt and around the world. We have pyramids all over the world. So they believe there is a connection there. And the way that they're laid out in the that plateau, as far as You got the face of Cydonia, and and like I said, they called it the city, and it was kind of laid out the same way, and the stars and stuff like that. So it makes perfect sense because we do the same thing on Earth. There's a lot of links to it. Kim Wade's in there. Good evening to you, Kim. I don't know where you're at, but I'm going to say good evening. Jay McGuffey said, if we believe humans in one form or another have colonized, the heavens for 100 million years, nothing is impossible. We're only going by what we see now. In other words, a scientist, these astrophysicists and all these other people, these physicists, they're going by what they see now. But that doesn't mean later on, years to come, that they're not going to learn a whole lot more about the neighborhood that we live in. I promise you, there's a lot more that they're going to learn. And I'm sure a lot of them are already in the know, if you know what I mean. So they probably pretty much get it. But they're just basically signed a contract saying, I will not give out a word of it, and that's the end of it. Chris Chubb, what's going on? He said, hi, guys. Can't wait. Love the show. I appreciate it there, Chris. Glenn Marsh is in there. He says, great work, Chris. Enjoy your videos. I appreciate it again, Glenn. That's awesome. Gary Morgan, he said, hi, Chris. Have some photos you may find interesting. May I send you them? Regards, Gary. Yeah, you can send them to MarsAnomalies@AOL.com. Like I said before, my kids still laugh. Are you still using AOL? I said, can you get email? They said, yeah. Well, that's all that matters to me. I don't care. It's not like I drive it. What do I care? Youngster78, what's going on? You said, no, spinning is the opposite, make gravity less. Well, if that was the case, then the moon would have an incredible gravitational pull, and you wouldn't be able to get off of it. Not through science. Science has taught me it's actually stronger the more it spins. Although I think they said there is some, exceptions, but yeah. James Cragen, what's going on? I didn't see you jump in there. Robert Morgan, didn't he? Said, whoops, almost missed the beginning. Tony Gibbs says, we know the size of the moon, and therefore the volume. Gravity being direct tied to mass should give us a real number for the moon's mass. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of calculations they do to find all of this out. It doesn't matter what body it is in the solar system, right? Of course, if it's gaseous, I'm sure they take that into consideration and everything else. But, a lot of these have to be, looked at, like they did with the moon, where they had a radar image taken, basically a radar snapshot. So it penetrated the ground 35 to 50 feet into the ground and found some really weird, some of them you could pass off as lava tubes, which is, I believe that they were. And some of them, no. In fact, one of my videos show that. It says, radar image of the moon shows structures or city. I forget exactly what it was, because this has been so long ago since I've done that video. But, yeah. It's not just that. A lot of this stuff is underground and probably just pretty close to the surface, and probably some of it's way down. Who knows? Many guys. Adam the Martian, you said, many guys of Twitter here. Greetings. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of you in there. Well, it's good to see you in there. Which reminds me, you might have seen this one about the Perseverance. Maybe I'll ask you, Adam. Did you see the side-by-side where the guy said there's a camera on the turret arm, taking a picture of the underbelly of the Perseverance. He had a side-by-side. One of them looked more natural where it had blue sky and everything else. But on the left-hand side, he circled an area where it said, "Where's the mountains?" Did you see that one? Very interesting. But not only that, there's other stuff in that photo right directly in front of that rover. Like I said, we'll be getting to that one shortly. So, Jack DeVille, he said, I will check in later. I got to run to my home office. All right, cool. All right, Jack. Good to see you in there. All's well, bud. Dude, you just had to go out to the moons of Saturn and Neptune, especially Triton. True. Oops. James Reagan, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you there, brother. You said the sun's diameter is 400 times bigger than the moon. It's exactly 400 times further away. The moon is 2,160 miles at its equator, which is why we get solar eclipses and people think it's a coincidence. Oh, there's so many variances to that, too. It's not just the actual total eclipse where it blocks out the sun. There's just so many things. And that alone, they said that, I've heard this before where they said once it does that, goes into this total solar eclipse, that there's like a reset going on. Now, that sounds a little bit more X-File-y kind of thing to me, but there's all kinds of different, I'm going to call it conspiracies on that part. But regardless, as far as there's different measurements, the way things are laid out on the moon, the things we've seen on the moon, this thing's been visited for millions of years. There's no doubt in my mind. And if it was, in fact, drawn here, meaning towed here, like some people believe, if it has, this would make sense because it's probably been off somewhere else. And if it hasn't, let's say it's been here all along, this solar system hasn't. We talked about this before, 65 million years ago. There was a woman scientist who said, and I think there's more than a few scientists that got together and said our solar system was in another part of the galaxy millions of years ago. So what other solar systems were we next to, and were other aliens puddle jumping onto our solar system, making it a home? And then at some point it jumped off. Like, it's kind of like where you live now and you decide, hey, I'm going to go buy a house. So you go out and buy a house. So you move out of your own neighborhood and go to somewhere else. Is it possible that's a possibility, right? Olin Creeley said a small black hole in a hollow core would supply gravity. That's true. That's what they claim, anyway. Jim Donahue, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Let's see now. John Sharp, good question. He said, what causes the wind on Mars without a moon? Just different warm and cold fronts. If they claim that there basically virtually almost no atmosphere, again, there's nothing to, stop the heating of the surface, right? So in the morning, I would imagine it's very windy. During the day, it probably subsides. And next to night, when, of course, you get the Terminator, where you got the sunlight and the darkness, it must be very turbulent at that point because it's supposed to get very cold on Mars. So I would imagine very cold, very warm. They clash. They say it gets up to 70 degrees Fahrenheit at the equatorial region. It gets hotter than that. I've heard 104 degrees in the shade because there's nothing to filter that sunshine. Now, if that's true, let's even call it 70. Who gives a crap, right? Let's call it 70 degrees. Okay. If that's true, and it's got really, really cold at night, you're going to have these warm and cold fronts clashing, right? So you're going to have that. And somebody's mentioned something about the little dust devils they just recently had on there, and I think that's on the Twitter page I'm going to show you guys. And I thought that was pretty funny the way it looks. I mean, they made a GIF out of it. Some guys made a GIF out of it. But what I find interesting is that it just looked like crap. I mean, you'll see it. Tony Gibbs, you said every planet in the solar system that had a solid surface has weird stuff that cannot be explained, including Pluto and Mercury, the moons of Jupiter, etc. That's true. Now, they found some weird stuff on there. Like, what I like is they're going after Triton, right? Now, it's supposed to be a lot like Earth. I believe that's the one, the moon. And so, they want to send all kinds of these probes and all kinds of stuff, and they're trying to find life on these planets, like in the oceans of these, like moons and stuff like Ganymede and the different moons of Jupiter and Saturn and all kinds of stuff. They want to send all of these drones there. It's like, I get that you have the technology and you want to go there, but if is that the only reason? Or by sending probes to these planets, have you seen something like you did on Mars years ago? And this is the reason why you're occupying the planet today, right? Let me see this here. Let's see. Mimi, I was just reading that. I just checked it out. New bacteria lurking on ISS, no space oddity, says yeah, because they've seen like microorganisms on the outside of the ISS too, right? Keep in mind, it's still within Earth's atmosphere. And just like they claim now, the moon is. So it's still there regardless, right? It's still within the atmosphere, so you're going to probably get that anyway. They can still live out there. And that's why they believe some of the stuff that they're seeing on the moon, like either moisture or other weird oddities, they're saying, well, it's due because it's still pretty much in Earth's atmosphere. Of course, it's way outer atmosphere, but that's what they claim. It says 4 species of bacteria, 3 of them previously unknown to science, have been discovered on board the International Space Station, begging questions about how they got there and how they managed to survive. See, that's intriguing. That's crazy. Because, wow. And it's like unknown to science. So this stuff's out in space somewhere. How did it manage to cling to the ISS? Think about that a minute. Their discovery may also bolster future efforts to cultivate crops during long space flight missions, since related species are known to promote the growth of plants and help them fight off pathogens. That's pretty interesting. So we'll make sure that, it is being seen. It's not being held. A lot of times, anybody puts a link there, it automatically says held for, for me to check it out. And it's like, I don't get that. James Cragen, you said, Chris, if you think about the different temperatures on the moon, I guess it's 122. Well, it's probably below, right? In the sun, and well, actually, that's above, right? Celsius and 152 below Celsius in the shade. There must be a reason to be under the ground, no doubt. Or if you land in a certain place near that Terminator line where you have sunlight in there, you'll be almost like in the Goldilocks zone, right? Think about it. Won't be too warm, won't be too cold. So that's pretty cool. But they got all the atmospherics in their spacesuits and everything else, so they can actually withstand that. And, of course, they got the gold kind of, lens kind of thing to look through so the sun doesn't basically bake their eyes out. And it's an insulator. You know that. Gold is a great insulator. Elaine Millard, what's going on? It's good to have you in there. Let's see. What's going on there, Mr. Corey? Mr. Bush Corey's in the house. Jim Donahue said, Chris, your question was, do you believe that the objects in Antarctica that are similar to that on Moon Mars are of Atlantis, like Sarah Michelle was saying? I actually do believe there's a connection. And because if you're seeing a lot of it, what we're seeing in Antarctica and what we're seeing on the Moon or Mars, even if there's anything that's remotely like what we have now, because even now we have, ancient, sites on Earth, and then look at the technology we have. So it wouldn't surprise me if you're seeing both of that on Mars and you're seeing it on the Moon. It might be newer structures and older. Some look demolished or in ruins, and some not so much. So it wouldn't surprise me, right? Now, do I think it is Atlantis? Some of them are claiming that it could very well be. Now, I don't know if they say, well, that's the real missing link, and this is the reason why they're calling it Atlantis. Now, I've been in touch with Julia, and she's going to be doing more of this. In fact, she's going to make a whole new site. It's going to be up, and it's going to be strictly Antarctica, so that's going to be awesome. So she may pop in here later on. I don't know. But the good thing about it is I'm glad she's going to continue that work because there's a lot to be learned from this stuff. And, sometimes you got to learn from your own backyard before you can go outward. But if you think about it, at least on my channel, I kind of went backwards. I went from Mars, and I said, wait a minute, you know what? I've seen a lot of things on the moon. I probably should have had the moon up a long time ago, meaning maybe that site, because I was checking out the moon photos long before I was doing Mars. This is the reason why we made the lunar anomalies and beyond. And like I said in my last video, the reason why I put that moon video on this channel was to actually give you that announcement about that other site. So, but either way, we have them both now, so we can see these things. It says, hey, Chris. Hello, gang. Sorry I'm late. Happy Friday. Oh, you're fine. Good to see you there, Mr. Corey. Well, I just jumped on me. Somebody was asking about the humidity between Earth and... Man, damn it. Robert Morgan, the question was, what's the humidity exactly halfway between Earth and the moon? That's a great question. I don't have the answer to it. Not sure. If anybody else has got the answer to that. I don't know. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of it if it's there. Now, I understand because, like I was just saying, there's an atmosphere, according to scientists, that if the moon is still there, then there's more atmosphere. So you're going to have some kind of... I would think you'd have some humidity, but I can't imagine there's got to be a whole lot. I can't imagine. But it's a very interesting question. I just don't have the answer to it. Being truthful. I haven't looked into it. Dale Rogers said, JPL scientists said Mars surface may be 49 degrees Fahrenheit, but 183 feet in the air. No, I mean, at the ground surface, because it gets... the solar heating, it's hottest there because the atmosphere is so thin that it just dissipates, right? So it's kind of like if you had your hand like this and you're like, oh, it's very sunny out here. It's 95 degrees. Put your hand on a hot car and watch what happens. It's a whole lot hotter at that surface, right? So, and they said because the Curiosity actually registered 104 degrees in the shade, and that's, of course, they're close to the equatorial region. So... and let's say it was BS. Let's say it's 70, 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's in the summertime at the equatorial region. Okay, that's still warm enough for any of us to walk around on it, that's for sure. So, let's see. Stephen Gurley, what's happening? Good to see you in there. He said they told us to multiply. We need to go against their will to get their strict attention. Yeah, if you're doing that, what do they call it? It's like kind of like a conjuring of the aliens, if you will. Paul Weisgerber, what's going on? He said, hiya, gang. I managed to make it tonight, too. Hoping everyone is having a great day. We're doing well here, Paul. I hope you're doing good as well. Jay McGuffey says, go tardigrades. Yeah, I wonder if they're still on the moon. I wonder if they're still alive. Remember that? It was China that sent them up there in those little test tube kind of things. Pretty sweet. John Schaub, he said, if you get ill on Mars, how will the astronauts get help? Where do you go? I'm sure they're going to have everything from like a medical section and everything else. Or there'll be people who are very knowledgeable about anything, like a doctor will be up there, scientists, geologists. They're going to have the best they can. So they're going to make sure that they can cover all that if they need to, right? So, because, I mean, it does make sense. It's a great question, really. John Shaw. Snowflake astronauts will be depressed. Probably. Got no internet. Remember that? They were talking about putting internet on the moon? And it's crazy at first when you first read that article, you're like, oh my God, you can't help but to laugh, right? But it makes sense. So you put a tower there, and it's either solar or it's got its own, maybe like solar, not solar generator, but it may be a nuclear generator on there. So when they're there on the moon, they can literally it'll be like a relay station back to Earth, be much more powerful and relaying it right back here to Earth. Instead of having those flat panel antennas you always see on there, they'll have like a parabolic dish or something like that pointing directly at Earth, and it'll probably be super speed and everything else, and, they can have all kinds of, conversation and everything else, so it'd be pretty sweet. Darryl Jones says, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, guys. Hit it hard. Yeah, maybe I thought the same thing. He said, Internet on the moon? Okay. But it kind of makes sense. If they're going to be there for long periods of time, it makes sense to do that. And of course, it'll be high tech and everything else, and it can be have its own power source. And so if you're on there, instead of trying to relay a message, let's say, like back in the day when they had the rovers, they had their own little dishes on there, and they'd send the information back. Very slow packets coming back to Earth. So by that, now it's like being on there with your own phone, and you can just, boom, uplink, and it shoots it high-powered, bigger dish, the whole 9 yards right to Earth, and it would actually, make sense. Arts and Crafts, you said, Chris, if you're interested in Atlantis, check out the Eye of the Sahara. It even matches the described land as the sea level, rather, would have been higher back then, etc. Oh, yeah, absolutely. At some point they say it would be lower, and then some people say it would be higher because, this is the reason why we're seeing these ancient civilizations, like off the coast of Japan, where they had those pyramids and those other structures underwater, because at one time it was not underwater. So the sea levels are now higher, much higher than they were. Now, some of them scientists believe, it could have been due to asteroids over millions of years. As it's, they come in, boom, they got their own amount of water, so on and so forth. I don't know if it can put that much water in there, but over millions of years, I can imagine it could do that. Kind of makes sense. Stephen Grilly, China's on it with 11G technology. Well, he won't be up there to get sick or anything, right? Won't have to worry about being in the way of the antenna. Yes, Doug Triber, absolutely. He said, didn't India send... I thought it was China that sent the tardigrades up there to the moon and then had an accident. Well, what happened was, I don't know if it was... I'm almost positive they said that the heat from it actually killed the plants that were in them. So they had like these separate little tubes or some kind of like little like globes, if you will. And one of them, the thing crashed and these things, fell off there. And of course that thing exploded and those tardigrades are actually walking around there. So, and they're like an extremophile anyway, you know that. And they can live in them. They're very robust and they can live on like extreme temperatures. So whether they're still living on the moon, I don't know. That would be interesting to see or find out. Mike, Mick Gus, what's going on? Good to see you in there. You say, hey, Chris and everyone, hope all is well. We are. Hope you're doing good there, Mick. Stig, what's happening? Good to see you in there, Stig. Mr. Wayne's in there. What's going on? Says hello. Let me show you this. Here, if we can find this here. All right. Here's the page I was talking about. Some of you guys, you said you're from Twitter. And you can see it says spotted a dust devil. And you can see NASA's Perseverance Mars rover posted this, right? Spotted a dust devil. You can see it in the distance behind my robotic arm, and which doesn't make any sense. If you're taking this with the mass cam, right? Why is this in the way? Think about that a minute. The dust devil is moving right to left and creating whirlwinds of dust in its path. And of course, it looks so CGI, it's not even funny, but maybe because it's way off in the distance, has that look, right? Seeing the zoomed in view of the dust devil on Mars, and you can see it right there. Pretty interesting, right? Rachel Anderson, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Been a while since I've seen you there. Hope you're doing well. We're just going over with the Perseverance about the small dust devils here, and you can see it up at the top here as well. Right there. Going from right to left. Let me get my face out here so you guys can see this better. And you can see right there. Now, I know you guys said some of you guys were from Twitter, so you'll recognize this. I don't know if you've seen these. But pretty interesting. And then, of course, they got this one here, which is a little bit more up close. Okay. See the zoomed-in view. Recluse Lord 666 says, hey, man, it's me. How are you? I'm doing fine. How are you? Yeah, Mimi. To hide something? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If the camera's behind the turret arm, why is that in the way? I'm a little confused. You know, that's the only thing I could see. It's like, why is this thing, unless it's filming this as well? Because you can actually see it going from right to left as well. See it tilting? But I'm a little curious. Unless that thing's a lot better quality, they're taking a lot better quality and seeing that thing with pristine viewing as opposed to the crap one we're seeing here. Jim Donahue says, let's see, fake dust devil, another distraction from the obvious. Yeah, could very well be. Mr. Wayne says, everyone, please bang on the like button. Helps our host. Yes, it does. Now, this is the photo I was talking about. This is crazy, right? He puts on there. So, where's the mountain? Now, I don't know if I've got this in here. Let me see if I can find this thing here. Right here. Now, I have it in Photoshop because there's other things I've seen in this photo. Now, let's do this. This is crazy. Let me do this here. And he's got a great point. Where is the mountain? Now, you can see clearly it's blue up here and over here. Nothing's changed in this photo. One guy says, oh, it's changed angles. No, it hasn't. It hasn't changed any angles. Look at the rocks in front of this right. I'm going to guess this is the front right wheel because I think this is the rear of this. Let's say it isn't. It doesn't really matter at this point. This wheel right here in the back on the right, look at the one in this photo. Same exact rocks. Nothing's changed. Look at this right here. This little pebble right here in the shade. And you can see the suspension of the rover. You can see the two the links to the wheels and stuff, and here's the teetering arm. You can see the little stone right here. There's a little stone right there. Nothing's changed. However, where are the mountains here? We have these here, small hills, on the right photo. One here, and we have them right here as well on the left. And yet, where's the big mountain here? And the background, where's it here? Nowhere to be found. Imagine that. So, what do you guys think of that? That's crazy, right? Let me see. Arts of Crafts, you said, Chris, is the YouTube channel Bright Insight, and the video is called Ancient Map Shows the Lost City of Atlantis is the Eye of... Okay, I got you. Let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and copy that if I can. Let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and copy that here. Well, notepad that bad boy. So we can check that out. Thank you, Arts and Crafts. Micro Nova says, evening all. What's going on there, Micro? All right, so do you guys find this interesting that these things are missing, or this mountain's missing? And like I said, a guy says, and he goes by Jesus Breakin', I guess it's Jesus Hernandez, and of course, at the time, it was 19 hours ago. Excuse me. And yet, where's the mountain? Nothing's changing this, other than it's more of a realistic color in the background on the right one. And yet, where's the mountain? And I was just like, oh my God, that is so, and I said, spot on, good. I said, good eye on this one. I told him something like that. How is that, how do they even get away with that? And they put this right on the Perseverance page. Clearly, it's not the rover posting this, common sense, right? So NASA must have seen it because it looked like it was taken off, because I remember being next to another photo. It was above another photo that somebody else posted, and then it was below it after. So I don't know if they took it off and this guy put it back on. Yep. No, Rachel, that's not good. Hope you pretty much can get it squared up. Get that taken care of. Mark's PKS, he said that is Mars anomaly right there. That is a Mars anomaly. Yeah. What I noticed too, guys, I don't know if you guys have seen this. Let me get the right mouse here to help. Right here. We'll just zoom in. Notice this little square piece right here. At least that's what I'm seeing right here. Right? What looks like this black circle, right? I'm saying, well, that's a little weird. It's a little strange there, right? You got something right here. Look at the difference in the pixels. Something is in this photo. Right here. Notice the different colors of the ground. Now, don't get me wrong. There could be shadows that would change the color or the brightness, but we're not seeing shadows here, right? Here's another thing you guys are going to notice, and I didn't see this at first until I went, oh my God, check this crap out. Look at this. What the hell did they run over right here? Notice this thing's doing this. And they try to paint the wheel over it. Weird, guys. It's almost like the wheel was just on the outskirts of that. Look closely. You can see this. I'm going to zoom into this. Check this out. The guy didn't even know. The kid that posted this didn't even see that. Look at the way the wheel goes like this. It's on the edge of this, and yet they put it so it's on top of that to try to block it out. What is that? What could that possibly be? Does this. Actually, let me do it the way I'm really seeing it. Watch this. Goes like this. Comes out like this. Goes like this here. Goes through the wheel. Look at the white. You can still see it through the wheel. And it appears to be stopping. I don't know if it's flat or if it's kind of rounded at the end. But does this, and check this out. I'm not sure. I can see it going like this and coming back. And you can still see it going behind the wheel or through the wheel. That's not, and here's the weird thing. It's not sun going through it. Because look at this. Look at the angle of the sun right here. So the sun's coming from this direction here to be able to do that. This thing, the shadow would be way out of this area to be a shadow. So what is that, guys? What do you guys see in there that it just speaks volumes, right? And like I said, the guy didn't even see that part. I would have said, what did you guys run over right here? Because clearly that's not natural. Mimi, you said, I hope it's not a Martian. No, it looks like it's something metal or some kind of object that, in other words, it's intelligently made. Let's see. Okay, so let's get into this a little bit more and show you what I found here. Again, we can see these will look like something's right here doing this. Now, I believe there's multiple pieces there. There's a bunch of stuff right here. This all right here in front of this rover. This thing stopped right here to have a look. Whatever this stuff is, right? Let me just back up here for a minute. I want to see something. Okay. So, because of the shadowing, we can't see if the turret arm is on this side or if it's out of the photo, meaning closest to and on the opposite side. I believe it's on the opposite side. It's not on the far side. However, it stopped there for whatever reason. Oceans in Space says, good find. Yeah, I noticed that too, Pete. Yeah, they didn't do that this time. He said, no cuts on the wheels to spell out JPL and Morse code like on Curiosity. I noticed that too. I said they decided to go with a solid, well, when I say solid wheel, it's still, it's thickness, but they don't have any cutouts at all in it. Maybe they thought that was going to weaken the wheel. But if you noticed at that JPL, it was actually thicker steel. So it made sense that they did that. But, yeah, it's all about weight. And they wanted to make this thing as light as possible. So, yeah. Youngster 78, you said a tire iron? No, it actually has almost like a backwards letter F, but it has this top piece. See this right here? Like I said, it's kind of doing this. You can just see it through the brown right here. It's doing this right here. I can see it doing this, going like this here. Oops, a little too far there, but you get the idea. And right here. But it goes right through the wheel. And they covered it up with the same ground. And notice how blurry this is. Now, don't get me wrong. This can happen on a low-res photo in the dark. And, of course, this is shaded, so you will get that, right? All right, let's get into this a little bit more. So I tried to get a more natural color. That's slightly better, right? You can see the sky and a little more gray there, and the ground is more of an orangey. So we change it to get the best color we can. Now let's get into this. Okay, so I started seeing these things popping up. Okay, I'm looking right here. Okay, let's keep going with it. Try to black and white it, get some of this crap up. But you can see these raised pieces in here. They're hiding something in this photo. That thing there, I'm not sure what to make of that. It looks like I'm going to say square box, or lack of a better word, is doing this here and has this circle. I'm not sure what to make of that. So we have a small piece here, something here, and this time I did this whole piece right here. And look carefully, right here, do you see the other part of this piece? I'm going to zoom in, right here. It's not even in the white. It literally still goes down like this. You can see that going just like this, up and over. So this thing is actually longer, like this, but it goes down. It appears to almost go down like this here. Like it's actually longer and goes like this here. But let's have a closer look. Again, see the white right here going through the wheel? No. You can see the edge of the wheel is right here, and the edge of the wheel was down here. So it looked like it was right on the outer edge of this thing, but somehow they went like this and just painted over it to try to add it to the wheel if they wanted to. And you can see white right here, so I don't even know what the hell is going on here. Whatever that is, that doesn't look natural, that's for sure, right? What's going on there, Dave? Good to see you there. Mr. Mars X3D's in the house. The evidence jumping in for a bit, Chris. Looking good. Appreciate it. Good to see you there, Dave. Hope you're well. James Cragen, you said, Chris, it looks like a type of metal slab. Yeah, it's got this weirdness to it. And again, what kind of threw me off is right here, that other, what looks like that piece there in the back. But check that out. And you can see I just went white right through there, so we can actually see it. It's almost like this wheel is on the very edge of this thing, like it's right behind it, right? See that? But whatever these things are, they're hiding it right in front of the rover. You don't see anything here. And I see something right here between the wheels. Now, I can't make out if that's a rock. I don't know what to make of that. I'll just go to the raw photo right there. Not sure what to make of that. But you can see, like I said, the kind of messed with pixels and stuff. And you can see that, like, what they did here, the different colors right here. It's all like that lighter grayish, if you will, right? So this thing, I mean, think about it. If these pieces are small, we can roll right over that junk. Think about it. And that's what I believe happened to the Curiosity, to be honest with you guys. I think that this thing, this is the reason how those wheels got torn up, is because they were rolling over things that were jagged. And I don't mean rocks either. And now I'm not saying the wheels can't take a beating from the rocks, because over and over you're running over rocks and stones and everything else. But some of them, again, have rips in the wheels. Now, we've talked about this before, and somebody said, well, you got to remember there's different temperatures which can make metal brittle, which is true. But I think they probably took that in consideration when they made these wheels, knowing that it can be extreme cold, extreme warm. Well, not extreme warm, but be warmer. So it gives it, because aluminum actually expands and contracts pretty well as opposed to some metals, right? So I think they took that in consideration. But here's another thing. I don't know if you guys notice this. What is with the blurring all over the wheels here? Look at this. What is going on there? It's almost like they superimposed this rover here. It just doesn't make sense. And you can see right here, look at this. I just noticed this now. I was going to say because this looked like soil sticking to the wheel, but look what they did here. Look at the actual blatant blur. Comes like this here. Looks like they kind of went over here, but it looks like right here and comes straight down on this wheel. Why? Why would you do that? And it looks like they actually, this is another weird thing. You shouldn't see anything here, this white piece, because there's nothing in there. It's like a spring steel. It goes out to, in other words, you got your hub, and it has a spring steel going to the rim or the ring inside here. Like there's a ring that's inside the wheel, and these spokes go out to it. So I'm not sure what this white is here. Not sure what that is. You shouldn't see anything like a solid piece within that. Even in this one, I'll go ahead and... You can see this in the normal photo. Look at that. Straight down completely right there, covering the wheel. I don't get it, guys. Anybody else got an explanation for that? Josh D said they made it a point of a new engineering on Percy, his wheels due to mess last time. Yeah, I mean, they probably, I don't know if they made it a little bit thicker, because I think it was only supposed to be like 60,000. It's very, very thin. But the fact that these spokes go out to the main ring, that's pretty much in the center of the wheel. So the wheel itself can take a beating as long as the ring doesn't come apart and the spokes don't. It should be able to hold up pretty long. And now we know Curiosity's been on this since 2012. Here we are, right? Going on 9 years. It's a great point, and I hear this a lot, Adam the Martian. You said, I never understood that they spend a lot of money on these rovers and nothing because, for nothing, rather, because they erase, put red filters, and falsify the photos. A waste of money and telling the world fake news. Well, I've said this before. We are not the first people to see these, right? They're the scientists that work for NASA, geologists, so on and so forth, or these higher-ups, these... we're going to call them black ops, if you will, for lack of better words. But these things, they're getting this information. They're taking these photos for a reason. They're not up just there looking for just microbial life. Now, I'm sure they are now. And like I explained before, I think, in my opinion, if they were on there and they've seen a civilization on there, which clearly we can see in these photos, they've seen a bunch of stuff, not in these particular ones, but the other ones I've done, where... If they know there's a civilization that was on Mars, okay, and they're rummaging through it, so to speak, they're taking photos of everything they can in high def, like I said, it could be 4K, it could be 8K, pristine photos, sending them back to Earth, and I believe it's probably through a lot better technology than radio is. It's probably laser. Again, a lot more information dense than a light beam. And if they know that, then it makes sense to say, hey, let's go to a bottom of a lake like they did in Gale Crater, and they're basically looking for microbial life, or kind of like Antarctica, and I said this before, where they take a core sample. Now, the ones they took, the geologists that took the core sample in Antarctica was in the water. And what they did was they had, it was on the ice, but then they had ice, then it was all of a sudden it was dirt, and then it was, what you see was organics in the bottom. Is it possible that they're doing the same thing to see... Maybe they know how they lived, meaning their house. They know if there's any kind of vehicles or whatever, how they got along or got around on Mars. Now they want to know what they ate. What kind of plant life was there? What did they, how did they thrive, so on and so forth. They want all the answers. Now, I'm not saying that they're not doing the legit stuff, meaning they're trying to find the original, or not original, but they're trying to find either microbial life or fossilized microbial life, right? So they could be trying to find that for legit reasons. But I believe the higher-ups in these space agencies, and that's any three-letter space agency, is that they're all working together, and this is a fact. I mean, you can go to like Kennedy Space Center, and you can see all of the flags on the wall in there. They're all in cahoots. Well, not when I say cahoots, they're all trying to build these things together. So you know they're going to be in the know somehow, kind of like Elon Musk. You know, he's a big part of NASA now, and he's being subcontracted through him and everything else. So you know he's got to be in the know. And so they're going to want to know everything about the civilization that once was, right? So it makes perfect sense. I would want to do the same. Were they a lot like us? Were they exactly like us? Who knows? Was it a mirror image? They said it was a lot like Earth back in the day when it had a lot more water and an atmosphere. So is that true? I don't know. We can only speculate because we truly don't know, right? Olin Creeley said, and where are the high-def videos? Yeah, I'm waiting to see those. That'd be nice. That would be nice. Yeah, you're right about that, Dave. You said these sure don't look like 4K images. Yeah, they look like less than 480, which is really sad. Like a 360, if that's even. I'm giving them more credit than they deserve. But again, I don't understand. Even if we look at the supposed raw photo, nothing's raw in these photos as far as I'm concerned. Again, why are we seeing this blurring on these wheels? It's sad. I mean, it's. In fact, let's do this. Let's view this. Look at it. You can actually see where the actual blurring is. Look at this. You can see where they've messed with this photo. Oh, yeah. Now, the shade's not going to count because clearly it's in a shade and it's going to show that kind of thing going on here. But yeah, they've taken a lot of detail out of these photos. My God. A lot of crap they took out of this thing. But it doesn't surprise me. This has been their MO for I don't know how long. You know, you got to remember. Now, when we were looking at the Antarctica photos, right? What happened there? Well, you know, we were looking at those, and these photos are being taken by guys, and they're good guys, but they work for NASA. So even them, those are going to be messed with in a way. You know that for a fact. So it makes no sense to me. They're just going to hide the stuff like they always have, and they're going to continue to do so unless somebody blows the whistle. James Cragen, yeah, I appreciate your support, man. He said, Chris, a cloth for the CGI boys glasses again. Yeah, it's either they're doing it for a reason, kind of like, you know, throwing us a bone every now and then. Even if it's crap, it's still, the fact is they're still showing this stuff to a certain degree. They're hoping that somebody can pull the stuff apart. And I just noticed this too. I don't know if you guys are seeing this. I just noticed it right here. And this is the reason why this piece is showing. Watch this. This is cool. Again, I've seen this blur over this white piece, but look at this. It literally goes down. You can see it squared off. Right there, comes down. Can you guys see that? Watch this. Put it back to the raw photo. Detail. But as it goes down, like I said, the airbrush, it did something here, because you can still see this white right through here, right? But it comes down, and you can see it doing this there. Point, comes down, another 90-degree angle right there. So they literally took out, so there's got to be something underneath this rover that they didn't want us to see. And it's right in this area. See this right here? You can see where just about all of the information has been redacted out of here, because you can see a little bit of detail down in this area, and then almost complete crap up here. Blurred out, complete crapped, but yet this piece here, why they let that one show? Maybe they thought people would think it's sun, or didn't think anybody would recognize it. I don't know. But there it is. Clearly that's not a rock, and that's not sun, because this thing is at such an angle, there's no way that could be sun. It's literally under the rover. And we've seen the angle, again, of the sun. And it's like I said, it's going down like this to the, well, actually bigger slant than that. It's going like this because you can see the rover right there. So that's a hell of a shadow that would be casting way out over there. Well, I'm going a little bit exaggerating. It should be like right around going like that. So there's no way this would be in the sun. There's no way. That could be sun going through the actual rover itself, either the suspension parts or whatever it may be, right? Yeah, I think what do you call it was asking too. Six was asking about what Andrew said. These are not photos taken by a camera. I have taken lots of pictures from the underside of my truck. They do not come out like these do. I mean, you will have a shadow under there, right? And you will have, depending on the sun and everything else, reflecting off the ground, and you'll see the truck under there, what a car or whatever. Things like that. Pete, good question. You can see them a little bit here. The track photos, you're saying right here. You can see them right here. And this one here, this wheel is actually out more than the other two. You'll notice, you'll actually see the wheel going like this. And then this one here is outward a little bit more. That's just the way this thing's designed. And it may be because it can actual 0-point turn kind of thing. But yeah, it is there. And you can see it just barely. Well, I actually be a little wider than that. It's right there. You can see that one right there. But the fact that these things are being hidden, and like I said, I can see this. Oh my God, this is sad the way they're doing this. Again, look at the way they like airbrushed over this section right here. And clearly you can see this thing going through. You can just see a little bit of the white going like this here. Or it's going actually through the wheel? How is this even possible? It's almost like they superimpose this thing onto it. And I still don't get the wheel and inside. You should see almost, well, not clearly through it because it depends on the angle because you're looking at it from here. Here's the edge. So you may be still seeing wheel, but it looks like there's actually an inside hub to it, and there's not. It's only the center hub and then the spring steel. It's probably almost like a shock absorber. You can have a flex steel do that and take out some of the vibration. Do that. John Shea, what's going on? Good to see you there, man. He said, even and all, hope you're all well. You're well. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing well. Exactly. Great point. I'm glad you noticed that, Paul Grauer. He said, only when they're looking at the ground is it clear, but landscape is a blur. Absolutely. You ever notice when they get down with the cam on the turret arm, it's perfect. I mean, it looks clear as can be. It's crystal clear. I don't know why they even, well, I guess they probably have to. I was going to say, I don't know why they would even take pictures of the surrounding areas, meaning mountains and everything else. When you're clearly trying to be drilling in the ground, you're trying to drill into the ground and look at these different, looking for these building blocks of life, why you would even do that. But they probably want to prove, hey, we are on Mars, so on and so forth. But yet, I just noticed something else. There's another mountain here missing. What about this one here? See the one here on the left? Just near the belly pan where the helicopter's housed? Right there. Where's that one? Watch this. It's not there. In fact, you can see something brown right there. You can see a 90-degree angle right there. It's just above it, right there, going like that, and comes right down. See that? There's basically, I don't see a mountain there. Let's just back out a little bit so we can do the comparison here. I'm not seeing that mountain here, guys. Right there. You see on the left, and nothing here on the right. And you can see right here. So they are messing with these photos. There's no doubt in my mind. Jim Donahue, the NASA guy, was drinking. Well, that could very well be. Eileen Millard, you said, I wonder sometimes if they don't do certain things, i.e. add something a little too obvious. So like a magician, our attention is took more away from real objects. Yeah, I mean, they'll say, hey, look at the elephant in the room kind of thing, but don't look over here kind of thing. Yeah. I believe that's a very strong possibility, Elaine. Absolutely. Dave Avery, what's going on? Good to see you there. He said, Chris, don't you have any connections with national TV networks in the U.S. that can share these findings? See, I don't know if they would, because here's the thing. Is it something they A, would get in trouble to show, or B, it's just not in their list of stuff to put on? You know what I mean? In other words, they go, we could care less kind of thing. Now, I know Russia Today would do it, and I had done a TV show with Russia. It was kind of like a Russian, alien, ancient aliens kind of thing. I had done it. I said, you can look for it. I think it's called Mars Anomalies Goes to Russia, and you can see that video. And so basically, I showed the guy came here, filmed, recorded, did everything here, and then they put it in there with the in the video. Of course, you got to use a closed caption because it's all in Russian, and unless you speak Russian, you're in a world of hurt. But and it's funny to see the translator. Oh my God, it'd be like, so Mars in a Sol whatever, and they'll say Martian banana. It just comes out with some bizarre stuff. But yeah. Paul Grauer says the under rover should be crystal clear too. You would think this would be absolutely pristine, right? And it's not. So I don't. We all know that these photos can be taken better than this. Come on. And like I said, these cameras on here, like I said, they're going to be the creme de la creme. It's like when they did the Apollo missions, the Hasselblads were way ahead of their time in the day. And Hasselblad still makes cameras, believe it or not. But they were the creme de la creme. Again, you're not going to put crap cameras on a multi-million dollar, and I mean multi-million dollar rover. You're just not going to do it. And yet we're still getting these pieces of garbage photos that have been censored and manipulated. Yeah, so that makes no sense to me. Charlene Sampson, thank you very much. I do appreciate you. Much love to you. Oh, I love the little Asian dude. That's pretty funny. That's cool. Thank you for your support. I do appreciate it. I like the little tiny little guys and stuff dancing. What was the other one? The dancing pair, the exercising pair. Stephen Blackstone, he said, there are some interesting remote viewing sessions about Mars civilization. Yes, and I know which one you're talking about, the one that really stands out, because I've talked about this myself, where what they did is they took this guy and they put this remote viewer in a room and they just gave him coordinates. Didn't tell him what planet, didn't tell him anything. So we need you to go to this right here, and of course he started describing very tall valleys. And as he talked, and he's like, wait a minute, I'm seeing something here. And he talked about like structures with walls but no ceilings. And he said, and at one point he says when they first see him, he says, I'm here and I think they see me. So one of them started talking to him, and they said they sent out a crew or a group of people to go out and find another place to go to, because their civilization was basically ending, or was basically hurting big time. And then they explained to him, by the way, that was Mars. And so he's like, what? He had no idea, according to the article. And I might even have that PDF somewhere. Really, really interesting. It was cool. If that's the one you're talking about, that is. Charlene says, you're welcome, Chris. I do appreciate it. Thank you again. Yeah, exactly, Dave, from Mars X3D, guys. If you guys haven't checked him out, go and check out his channel, Mars X3D, The Evidence. His name's Dave. Super guy. I know him personally. Very chill guy, very knowledgeable. Check his stuff out. He says, same old crap, different MSL. Like I say, same old crap, different flies, but same difference, right? It's complete crap. Come on. And don't get me wrong. I love the idea. It's like you don't know what to expect in here. It's like a Cracker Jack box. You never know what you're going to find in these photos. And so I'm thankful there's still some meat to the bone, if you guys will. I mean, so we're still finding some crazy stuff. But this is a good catch on this guy here. Very good catch. And, when you see that, you go, yeah, what's the deal with that? The rest of it's there, but the mountain's gone. And I've said this about Mount Sharp, and I always said that was like a template, because no matter how close or how far they were from that thing, remember when it first landed? The mountain looked very big. Now, keep in mind, it was a mile and a half. I think it was a mile and a half from the very base and the very bottom of Mount Sharp. That's where the Curiosity landed. So I had to go towards it
run along the thing, and then go up in the mountain. It's supposed to be a 10-mile trek. It's been over 10 miles. And yet, the way they make it sound, it's still at the base of the mountain. And now, they did have to detour. They did have to go different places, and that makes sense. But surely they're past that, and I think they said it is well past 10, well, not well past, but it's definitely past 10 miles. So, but no matter how far this thing was or close to it, now this thing is supposed to be, I forget how high that mountain is. It's been a while since I've checked it out. But I think the whole crater is supposed to be like just about 100 miles. I think it's like 99 miles across, okay? So the crater, or I should say Mount Sharp, is quite tall. So if you're running along the edge of this thing, now I can understand a mile and a half away from it, you should be able to see the top of it and see the immense size of this mountain, right? But if you're at the foothill of that thing, you shouldn't see the top of that thing, but you always did. And a lot of times, I think they were in the southeastern part of that mountain. So I really found that really interesting. I said, guys, and I said this a long, long time ago. I said, I think this is a template, and they're dropping on top of things they don't want you to see. It's the same thing they did with the moon photos. And some people have caught their screw-ups on them where they've seen what looked like the same exact, well, I'm going to call them mountains and buttes on the moon, same position, everything, but in a different photo with the astronauts. So, they caught them messing that up too. So in other words, I think these are templates to drop on areas on larger things they don't want you to see. Now in this one here, instead of putting the mountain, they might have just made it sky instead of the mountain, which either way, it's a screw up. I mean, no matter how you look at it, right? James Brown, yeah, you're right. You said the news channels should be reporting absolute proof that NASA's messing with their own pictures. It should be. Mr. Wayne, you're right. It's called a red herring. Absolutely. Let me see. Let me go all the way down to the bottom here. All right, Rachel. Hope you come back. You said I'm going to take off for a bit. Bye, ladies and gents. It's always good to see you in there, Rachel. I hope you're doing well. Like I said. Jack DeVille, you said the mountain is mobile. Well, like I said, to me, it seems like it's a template more than anything, and that's what they've been doing all along. And they could just drop this thing wherever they don't want you to see, or they could just paint in the sky wherever this mountain was. One of the two, right? Because it does make you... I'm glad this guy actually asked right there in the Perseverance. What I was going to do is take a couple pictures and drop them right there. I think we should start doing that. And we can figure out what's really going on, right? Maybe they'll get tired of it and say, okay, let's just stop posting on Twitter. But you got to call out their BS, man. It's just as simple as that. Let's see. Claudia with a chance of UFO says, just such a poor angle for us to examine. Well, it was funny, like I said, when this was posted on there, one guy, like I said, he says, oh, it's obvious it's a different angle. No, it's actually not. It's the same exact angle. And like I showed earlier, like I said, over here in the bottom left, you can see this little stone, and it's literally on the edge of this shadow. And you can see that here, right? And you go to that one right, it's right there. Nothing has changed in this photo. So, and all of these right here, next to this, the suspension right here and the wheel. Let's see on the other side. Is that the same thing? Same exact thing right there. But they have messed with it a little bit. Look at this piece right here. And then look at this one over here. So they're doctoring up these photos in certain ways. Let me just bring that back just a little bit so you can see both photos here. You can see that they're messing with these. Let me get rid of this. Make this a little bit better. Look at that. You can clearly see there's a difference in these. So what are they doing here, guys? It's not like the daytime has changed. We can clearly see it looks like the same photo. Even if we're slightly off, maybe a different time, and I mean slightly because I'm looking at the distance between, again, we're looking at the suspension part right here. And look at the distance between here and here. There's a slight, if any, from here to here. See that? If any. So you would think if it changed position right here of the sun, we would see that, the sun between the actual parts of this rover. And yet we're not seeing that. So that tells me this is a pretty much the same time, and yet they've got different features in the photo. I don't know. It makes no sense. So therefore, you know this is absolute proof that they're messing with these photos. There's no way around it. Bush Corey, thank you very much for your support, sir. You are appreciated. Thank you. Thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, guys. It's 250 watching right now. You guys are awesome. And 156 thumbs up. Slam it if you don't mind. 6 says, okay, who wants what? I'm buying. How about a large pizza? Is that what we're offering? Jack DeVille, rent a mountain. There you go. I like that. I like that terminology. That's pretty funny. Steve Wagner, I hear you. You're absolutely correct. He said we need to demand clear pick for the amount of tax dollars being spent. Yeah, but they don't care. They just rob that right out of the economy. They don't care. They don't ask for it. They just take it. So, you know how that goes. Let's see. Youngster 78, you said shadows same, so the exact same time. Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing any difference here. I don't know if you guys are, but I'm not seeing a darn bit of difference other than things the way they've been manipulated and this non-mountain on the left-hand side of this photo. And like I said, that was a nice catch. And I'm glad they said it on that page, right? Ian, you said fake background. I think there's much more in there, and they'll put this fake sky sometimes, so you don't see the much larger stuff. Think about it. They can save so much time by just blocking this out. Again, I don't know. I'm not sure why they would do this to the wheels unless there's mud attached to it or something else that should not be there. And you can see the line of that. Let me just bring this back out here. And you can see that. Like I said, you can see this nice straight line coming down. And yet you can still see the ribs or the tread there, if you will, on the wheels going through the darker areas. I can still see that. You can see the lighter parts are right there, and yet they're still running behind this blur. Why? Why are they doing that to the photo? Unless there's something on that wheel that should not be seen. I don't get it. And I almost think at the angle of this wheel, you still almost should see through this wheel, at least right in this area right here. Because you got the other part of the wheel is going to be doing this, right? So we get that. But then what is here? It's not solid wheels. It just makes no sense. Yep, Tony Gibbs, yep, 2 different sky colors. Yeah, so I don't know if it was, like I said, it was just multiple pictures taken in one day. And again, why the different colors? It makes no sense. Lee Herring, you said, wow, Chris, that is crazy. It makes you wonder how far are they going with these and anything real in any pics. Well, I think the real stuff is actually being manipulated and censored out. That's what I think. I think that's exactly what's going on. So, again, they can mess with your eyes in certain aspects, but it's, I always go after the ground and the surrounding areas because, the real stuff is the stuff that's being censored. I don't care about the rest of the garbage. But like I said, this is a good call on this guy here. Absolute, and like I said, I think he goes by Jesus Hernandez, I think it was. Yeah. So, yeah. Like I said, he actually replying to NASA Perseverance, it's supposed to be. But so I thought that was pretty funny. But I think a lot of these, we just need to start going up there and bombarding these guys and say, what's the deal? Can you please? And I don't mean to swear at them and stuff like that, but say, guys, what's the deal here? What is going on with these photos? Ricardo, you said everything in the left image is just fractionally larger than the left. Can you overlay one image on top of the other to compare? Well, I mean, I think it's the way they got this right here. This photo's actually higher. So it may be given that illusion. If you had dropped it down right to this one here, it may not look that way. It looks like it's got more of a fisheye lens on this one. If you notice, this has got a little bit more of a... See the way this one here is like this on the upper left, and this one here is going like this. So I think it's like 2 different cameras they're using. You got the 2 lenses on there. You got the Super Cam, and you got the Z Cam, rather. And then you've got the other cameras. So I'm guessing that what they did was they took it from different cameras, and this is yielding these results. But it should not take a mountain out, and it should not, change the way they're manipulating and censoring the pieces on the ground. That's what I find interesting. I don't know, Tony. That's a good question. You said, what could be stuck in the wheel? I don't know. Yeah, Youngster 78, you said NASA just a front to feed us peasants. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like they have that PR section of all of these space agencies. In other words, the people who are working there are doing legit work. In other words, they're on the up and up. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. But then you got these, like this section of each of these space agencies, which actually work together. And they're just helping each other out to find out the truth about all of what's going on, whether it's here on Earth, Moon, Mars, and of course other bodies in our solar system. And they're all working together because then they can all spend their own money if they want to be at some point spacefaring themselves. So I think they're all working together to find it. So clearly they're not going to rat out the other one. Unless, of course, you went to war with one of them. Then one of them would say, well, because of the war, all bets are off. This is what's really going. They're lying. Yeah, exactly, Tony. Yeah, one's a fisheye. You can see the way that thing is. Again, this one on the right is the actual fisheye. And this one here, you can see how it goes up. So it's basically the same photo. Just it's like the perfect exact spot. But yet, one's a fisheye and one's not so much. So, yeah. I think it's Katani, I think. Forgive me if I said that, but you said I think it's overlaying image. It is overlaying image. Well, the thing is, I think, like I said, the images are real, but the cameras are taking just slightly different pictures. Again, you can see the difference in the way they're taken. And they're multiple pictures thrown together because you can see the sections of them right here on the lower right when there's different photos. So these might be like all stitched together to make that one large photo, which I believe that it is. So again, it's been different the way they've been taking it, but you can see the difference in the rover, how it's doing this. It almost has a slight curvature where this one here is pretty much straight across. See that? So you can see the difference in that. Bobby Pentland, good to see you there, man. Thank you very much for your support as always. Much appreciated. NASA just has too much fun messing with these photos. Yeah, I know, and it's literally a slap, like some of you guys said already. Man, it's like a slap in the face for these guys. I don't understand it. But we do understand it, but yeah. I love this too. I don't know if you guys have seen it. See Mars swing by the crescent moon tonight. And this was earlier, of course. Let's see what it does now. This was 3 hours ago. So you can see it right there. You'll get to see that. And then, of course, I loved some of this. It's a space station crew moves a Soyuz spacecraft to a new parking spot ahead of new arrivals. Got that there. Space chat with space.com. United Arab Emirates Hope mission to Mars in photos. Of course, this was says 11 hours ago here. Hope mission to Mars in photos, right? So they're going to be sending their stuff, of course, and all kind. I mean, I think they already have launched it, haven't they? I mean, everybody's going there because you know what? You just can't get enough of red rocks. You just can't get enough of that. And dust in a cold, barren planet. On this day in space, March 19, 1964, ionosphere satellite fails to reach orbit. How do tiny pieces of space junk cause incredible damage? Well, it's kind of like you can have what they call in the military or even in regular pilots will say we got an airstrike. It's basically you can have a bird strike, hit the engine, and completely demolish the turbine engine. So you can have the smallest piece, and if they're traveling at 17,000 miles an hour, it's going to do irreparable damage. So you're pretty much screwed, right? U.S. military to keep a wary eye on Chinese and Russian space ambitions under President Biden. I thought that was pretty interesting. So, a continued focus on the space ambitions of Russia and China is likely to be a through line between Trump and Biden administrators. So, the space ambitions of Russia and China will likely stay front and center for the U.S. military during the administration of President, experts say, during the presidencies, So I found that kind of interesting, like they're keeping an eye on them. What's the point? But you got videos here, and you can't play those. Because funny enough, I don't even play the audio, and I still get like not a copyright, because they call it not a copyright. They just say, oh, the other channel that actually posts this will get the revenue, which I don't really give a crap. But it's just the point that they do that, even though I don't even play the sound, which I think is funny. But, let's see. Space station crew relocating, which we've already seen that. NASA fires up its first SLS mega rocket for moon flights and the critical engine test. Pretty sweet. Here we go, guys. Early April. The Mars helicopter on NASA's Perseverance could fly in early April. So, sweet right there, right? United Emirates, Hope spacecraft at Mars spies solar system's tallest volcano. Yeah. Betelgeuse and Rigel, a tale of two brightest stars in Orion's belt. On Orion, yeah. Scientists wanted to store DNA of 6.7 million species on the moon, just in case. Yeah, okay. So when did they put the seeds up there? A seed vault. But anyway. Giuseppe D'Angelico, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thank you very much for your support, brother. I do appreciate it. You said, hey, excellent channel, loving it. Subs people. Oh, yeah. Appreciate you being here anyway. I didn't even see you creep in there. Of course, this thing did jump on me a couple of times, so it's very possible you slipped right in there. Jeff B.I., you said, how much do they pay the people at JPL to Photoshop everything? I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. But here's what's weird, and you guys have heard me say this a million times, that they literally laid off at one point 250 of these people. Okay, laid off. Is that the whole department, or was that 250 and there was more of them? Why would you need a CGI department at all? I mean, I know they say, well, we can make it aesthetically better for the people. Why? If I can go there with a standard camera and take a photo and send the image back, why do I need to do anything to these photos? Unless there's a reason. Yeah. Monster antimatter particle slams into Antarctica. Imagine that. The most remote particle detector on Earth has detected the most energetic antimatter neutrino ever, confirming a 51-year-old prediction. Huh. Imagine that. Pretty cool. Let me see what you guys are seeing here. Gene Borsier, you said more and more countries are going to send their equipment to Mars because they no longer trust NASA. Or, like I said, if they're working together, they're all working in tandem, so they're all trying to get all this information gathered. So, in other words, one person will be doing a certain, like, atmospheric test, and that's what their spacecraft is made for. The other one will take photos. The other one will take, whatever, right? And they just put all this information together, and they're all sitting down and getting all this information, taking it all in. And again, that's the higher-ups in these space agencies, where we have the other department, which is for the people, which makes sense. And so it kind of makes sense that they would do that, right? Dave Avery said, what's happening with the 180-day announcement in the U.S.? Well, that was part of the Stimulus Act. And what Trump did is he stuck this in there and said, I want to have full disclosure about UFOs, in 180 days. So guess what? June, July, somewhere roughly around there. So, that's what's supposed to happen. Now, whether the Pentagon is going to let out X amount of information, I mean, they can just say, look, this is what happened. We're going to let all the papers out. You guys can have it. But they're going to be, those are going to be censored. They're going to have black markers through different lines and people's names and so on and so forth. But I got a cool one for you guys to check out. Let me see if I've even got this here. Let me see. Let me go to. This is pretty sweet. Now, this is what I want to tell you guys before. Now, I was watching a video. And you got to believe that these are real. And, of course, these are Nazis. You can see the photos where they got scratches in them and stuff like that, right? Well, of course, this is the other moon we just did. But check this out. This is the Hannibal 2. Now, we heard about the regular Hannibal, or Hannibal. And you can see they have basically gun turrets on the bottom, and they're like in a triangular shape. where the bottom ball is the main, and these are on the outside, and there's like, 3 of them, right? This was a test flight. They showed the video, and this is in 1939. Imagine that. Another photo with these things in the air. And the guys, this goes back to 40s, 50s, okay? Question. What if we have never been invaded by an alien race? What if we've been building these all along, but it's still equally cool? I'll tell you why. Because now we're building them so we can go to other planets because we know there's life on other planets. Maybe other planets couldn't do this. Maybe they couldn't fly here, but we are building these things to fly there. So equally, it's still exciting because you're going, okay, so even if we weren't being visited, which I still believe that we have, but a lot of this stuff I believe today, if they've been building these in the 40s, you can bet a lot of this stuff is ours. Now, I'm not saying all of it is because they might have gotten this information, back engineered them, and this is what we got today, right? So I believe a lot of these are literally, now I'm not sure about this picture here because you can see these other airplanes, these prop planes, but still, nonetheless, some of these things that were built and the ideas that they had is just incredible, just awesome. If I can find this video, I'm gonna drop it. And the guy's got a lot. It is in Russian or German rather. And he shows this stuff, and he's got a lot of cool information about this. And again, you can see these gun turrets are like again, if you could look up underneath this saucer, you would see like a triangular shape. You'll see one set of gun turrets, another one, and another one. So, and this is a UFO type thing. Now, even if we were to say these are fake, and I don't believe that they are, but let's say they are, just for argument's sake, you can see they got these portholes right here. If they are in fact fake, that's fine, but they still had the design. And when they had this video showing this actual UFO, it literally shows it landing behind these structures. So I find it interesting how these things, that they built them. So it would not surprise me if a lot of what we see in the sky is ours. We got the technology to do it. But it's still equally exciting because if you're building these, you're trying to go to other planets. So again, we want to be spacefaring, and this is the way to do it. And you can bet they've already come up with a propulsion years ago in the 50s to go to other planets already. So it's still equally exciting. It's maybe had nothing to do with it. Maybe we were just that smart and we just got that, and we built these things, learned the propulsions and done all of this stuff. So I don't know. What's your take on that, guys? What do you guys think? You think it's, you think a lot of this could be ours or no? 6, enjoy your supper. I hope you're having something good because I'm getting hungry. Just don't say what it is. There you go, Robert. You said Mars helicopter gets pictures of Trump spaceport under construction. Lays claim to planet. Yeah. Jay McGuffey said drone with an iPhone 5 cam. You're giving the drone too much credit. iPhones took better pictures. Of course, we haven't seen the photos yet from the helicopter, but if they're anything like the ones we're seeing from this rover, yeah, it's trash. I'm hoping I'm wrong. That'd be pretty sweet. Yeah, Linda Borum, what's going on? Good to see you in there. He said, anyone else hear about the asteroid as big as the Brooklyn Bridge that's passing Earth? Yeah, I heard about that, and it's supposed to, I forget how many miles it's supposed to be out, but yeah, I heard about that. I forgot which date, but it's supposed to be really recent. So, yeah, they claim they don't see some of these things, but yet, yet they can tell you when these things are coming in. And then if it's almost like I said before, if they knew there was, I don't know about a planet killer, but at least a continent killer, a good part of an area killer, then it slipped by us. We don't know how it came in. Oh, come on. They've got to know that. No, let's see. Street Shock says most is ours. Robert Morgan says yes, Chris. Frex Centurion, what's going on? Yep, something to do with Mercury. Yeah, I mean, if you put it inside something and you spin it X amount of time, you got magnetic fields around it and coils and everything else. You can get, anti-gravitics, stuff like that to fly. And I believe they have this. They could probably, because we've heard things like, they can go to Mars in like 20 minutes, ridiculous times, right? If there's no obstructions to get there, I don't see why you couldn't. It's not like you're going from here to the other end of the galaxy where there's planets and rocks and stuff flying through space and everything else. So it would not surprise me if they could do that, provided they have the propulsion to do it. And I believe that they do. If they're working on this kind of crap back in the 40s, then it would not surprise me that they would have the technology to take us anywhere we want to go at this point. So, I don't know. Oh, I see what you're saying there, Ricardo. Yep. He said, Reich of the Black Sun for more info on Nazi technology. Huh. Josh D said, I've seen vids of flying Nazi saucers, rather. Oh, yeah. I've seen them, too. It's crazy. Tony Gibbs, you said, Chris, that might shed some light on the moon bases. Absolutely. Like I said, if they've got it, then you can bet it's just a question of time that we built them to. And, if these people are, these scientists talk and they probably, we got these UFOs, we can do this, we can do that, we can, of course, the Nazis, if you got guns on the bottom, this wasn't used for good, because they thought, I think it was during the wars, they thought that they were going to be supreme and they were going to take everybody out. And that would have been pretty interesting to see something like this flying around and shooting people down. That's not good. But regardless of it, they, like I said, they got the technology. Come on. Collided with a chance of UFO says, explain the silent black triangle I saw in 1993 with anti-gravity. Well, again, is it something we made? And we got all of this, we got it all, man. We got it licked. We can do all of that. It would make perfect sense. And maybe they want the public to think it's from outside so they won't think it's our own government doing it, because that could be kind of scary if you think about it. It's like, wait a minute, our own government's got that? What else are they capable of? So if you think it's an outside source, you might go, that's pretty interesting. Wow, I wonder, so you got questions that isn't your own government. And not to mention, if your own government admits to it, well, then other countries know about it. So if they deny it, I don't know. I guess there could be a lot of reasons for that. Youngster 78, you said maybe Roswell was a Nazi UFO, or it was our own, and it failed and crashed. We don't know. Could very well be. Gene Bossier, you said, a few years back, me and my sons built a wheeled drone about the size of one-person go-kart. We put a 720 cam on it and took pictures on the beach and in the woods, and it turned out beautiful. NASA? Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I can take an old piece of crap camera and take the equivalent of the photos I'm taking now. I don't get it. I know my iPhone here could definitely take better photos than that. That's a fact. Pete Ferrari said Italy couldn't reverse engineer, but knowledge was given to Germany in 36. Von Braun and company used it well. In 47, Braun went to Roswell to see if it was one of the Nazis built. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, of course, he was brought here to the United States for asylum with other scientists, and of course, he's the one that helped us out with rocketry and everything else. So this guy was ahead of his time, Von Braun. So, like I said, guys, I can tell you right now, I believe a lot of this is ours, and I also believe it's from out there, and that they've basically, back-engineered them. That's right, guys. Nail that thumbs up if you haven't done it already. It is appreciated. Let YouTube know we're serious. Cloudy with a chance of UFOs. He said, what was it doing? Hovering over a house in a residential estate is what I always wondered. That's a great question. Again, if they hover this thing around, clearly somebody's going to see it, right? Because why would they even make themselves be seen? But I think if they do that every now and then, they go, look, it's one of them UFOs. It's something, it's one of them alien things. Oh, my God. And it's like they want to keep emphasizing, like, so you believe it's something from out of space and not something here. Because, again, if you were to say, let's say the United States said, yes, the Tic Tac is ours. Yes, these other UFOs, there's some off the East Coast, some off the West Coast. Yes, they're ours. Then other countries are going to be like, what? So you guys have that kind of technology? Of course, if I was them, I'd brag about it, because then they'd be like, okay, what else do they have besides these things? Think about it. We shouldn't mess with that damn country. But I don't know. I mean, there's so many variances to believe what is really going on. James, thank you again for your support, brother. He said Operation Paperclip was how the Nazi regime made a deal with America, and America got the Nazis, scientists, and the creators of the remote viewer. That the Nazi regime cracked during the war and more. Well, yeah, I mean, I've heard about that as well. But like I said, to me, I don't know, man. It's just, let me see. Okay. I'm just checking something, a message here. But, yeah, I mean, if these guys were, let's say they were the first to come out with anything like this, okay, cool. But that doesn't mean other people aren't. And you could bet we were privy to what was going on over in Germany, too. We knew what was going on. So, and if von Braun knew this, then he probably helped us out with it, too. So, you could bet we got technology that we probably can't even comprehend. You can almost bet on it. Jim Donahue said, Chris, read Alien interview by Lawrence Spencer. If you get the chance, it's mind-boggling. I'll have to check that out. Huh. '09 Daniel, he said, Admiral Byrd encountered the German tech in Antarctica. Yeah, I think, again, these guys, we know the Germans were in Antarctica. There's a lot of countries that went up there. Again, what is the point? It's like going to Mars. It's like Antarctica is supposed to be this frozen tundra kind of thing. Nothing there to see, but yet there's an awful lot of interest over there. I guess Buzz goes over there. It's like on a bucket list kind of thing. I mean, just all kinds of crazy shit. I mean, and if you remember, they built that base. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. What was that? Oh, God. I had it. I actually seen this the other day because somebody mentioned it again. I saw it, and they got a base underground where they put a nuclear reactor, or was it atomic at the time? But anyway, they got a power source underground. All of the facilities, it looks like a regular house underground. Of course, you got your, place to eat and everything else, like dining area and all that other good stuff. Had everything under there you could possibly want, but for what reason? If you just go in there to take core samples, why do you need to be permanently there? Unless you have a permanent job there. Meaning you're inspecting stuff that it's going to keep you there for a while. Ice? Core samples? I don't think that's the case, guys. It just doesn't sound logical to me. Maybe I'm wrong, right? Bush Corey said, what the F with the thumbs down? Some people are, well, we're not going to use that word, but best channel on YouTube, in my opinion. Well, we already know where those came from. He was here earlier. We know where those thumbs down came from. Funny enough, we get the same Joker that came on to up there on the Odyssey, too. One of the videos got a thumbs down. It's like, oh, it's good we have our friends up there. That's awesome. That's sad. It's sad that, like I said, they just don't have, their own life that they just got to do that, But like I said, I mean, they can give the thumbs down. It's not hurting the channel any. I guess they think that's hurting the channel. I don't know. Martin Penray said, Starship looks like CGI, or is it just me? No, I mean, you can see the imperfections in the photo right here in the middle and everything, like it's an actual photo. Now, is it possible any of these are CGI? Obviously, that one's not. It's a drawing. But this actually has a video on that particular video, right? And like I said, I'll try to dig it up and I'll let you guys see this. Really, really cool information. And that closed caption actually works pretty well. So it's really, really interesting. You know, these guys built these things for a reason like that. Maybe they did actually catch a couple down ones and they try to basically replicate it. You know, who knows? This one I'm not so sure if it looks too modern for those old planes, but whether it is, I don't know. I really don't. They could very well have, Mimi. You said, your question was, Chris, do you think the Germans had interest in Antarctica way before World War II? They could very well have. Because, again, if the structure's there and technology there, first thing they're going to do is going to run up there and check it out. Or, again, was it us up there? And this is where we built all our stuff, so nobody be able to be, you know, nosy and see what's going on there. Area 51, somebody's bound to run in that area. And of course, we know there's a ton of people that go there all the time, and they're watching from miles away on these mountaintops with these telephoto lens and cameras and everything other thing, so they can see what's going on. So, but if you go in Antarctica, who's going to see you? So we don't know if all of them bases up there are us and the high technology, or was it something that was put there thousands of years from us? Maybe we're technologically advanced thousands and thousands of years ago and had our own catastrophes and we rebuilt our life, became what we are today. Maybe we were just as more, if not more technologically advanced back then. I don't know. It's just theories or just, you know, speculation basically. But who knows? You could bet that they have. We have. And probably other countries have gone there and said, oh, yeah, we need to check this out. And again, you wouldn't build a base there unless you were there permanently. For what reason? There has to be a reason why you would be there for indefinitely. Well, I'm going to call it indefinitely. And bring your own power plant and everything to be underground. Well, because of the harshness and everything else, but to be concealed too underground, right? I don't know. I don't think that's, it doesn't make sense to me if you're just simply going up there to just take some core samples, just kind of look around. Maybe the island was, you know, and they already know this, that, you know, they believe it was a lot like the Amazon at one point, Antarctica, and they said it was very lush, very warm. So if we had civilizations, and I mean like even us, our own people, on every island just about at some point in time, then why not Antarctica? Why is that any special? Why is it any different? Who knows? Yeah, Holly Noel, what's going on? He said propaganda picture there. Yeah, I think this one's kind of I'm not really, because it looks too new as opposed to what we're seeing here. But these here, I'm not so sure about these. These look legit. I mean, again, we're looking at the old truck. It kind of fits in with the old style we're seeing here. This thing here, again, this one could be 50-50 as far as I'm concerned. This actually shows it landing behind there. You know? So I don't know. I think some of them, but regardless of the fact, again, if they were working on rockets way back in the 30s and 40s, you know they're going to have propulsion systems that are like literally out of this world and that they can go all kinds of places, right? I haven't heard of that one there, Charlene. You said supposedly the Eggcorn UFO in Pennsylvania had to do with the Glock coming back 20 years later. That's interesting. I don't know if I read anything about that. P. Ferrero, you said matter, antimatter, is what makes Star Trek go. Antarctica shows why it's important to alien life. Oh, Youngster78, you said, don't worry about the less enlightened people. Exactly. No, they just come over from the other channel. They just, you know, thumbs down, man. It's like they're doing something. Ooh. All right, how many of you guys here are hurt by it? Anyone? Robert Morgan says, thumbs down means there's controversy. Yeah, you know, I've noticed that if I do moon videos, there's a certain channel that come down and thumbs it down. Any kind of moon. And like I said, he was present earlier. It's like, you know, some people just don't grow up and let things go, whatever the case is. So, you know, I don't have a problem with it. My life rolls on. I love it. So I don't care. Let them do what they got to do, you know. Let's see.
I don't know, Youngster78, you talking about this particular photo? You said that's using a prop, the flow, not anti-grav. I don't know about this one here because they did show, I don't know if you've seen this before, but what it had was like actual propellers or turbines all over this bell-shaped kind of area. And it showed, like you see this right here, they had them on right here though. And that's part of one of the videos. It shows that, where it shows like I said, like almost like props, turbo props on the outside of this thing and made it fly. And I'm not seeing it on these, so I don't know if it is in fact, a prop type thing, Let me see here. I didn't even see you slide in there, 786 Auto. What's going on? Good to see you in there, man. Hope you're doing well. Let me see. Let me jump way down the bottom here because I know. Oh, okay, you're saying the pic before that. So let me go back to this one here. See, even this here, I don't know if that would be like, in other words, a downforce coming just out of that. Again, I've seen the ones they showed, and it showed like the props are out here. So I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. Like I said, I'll find that video because I should have it in my history, and I'll go ahead and drop the link so you guys can have a look at it. It's pretty cool. Cloudy with a chance of UFOs. You're right about that. Talking about that other party there, yeah. Dale Rogers, the background in that is a lot clearer on this photo than in Percy's. It's sad, isn't it? Actually, that looks like some of Percy's right there. It does, actually. That's a sad part. But yeah, even back in the day, look, you can still see mountains, and it's probably the equivalent to this. How sad is that? John Che, you said they won't admit 0-point energy until they wrung out every unit of currency for every resource of the planet like usual. Yeah. Sadly, I think you're right. Tony Gibbs, spinning electrified mercury ore. Yeah, well, that's what they were really into India, the Sanskrit and everything else, their writings and stuff like that, the Mahabharata, where they talked about the Vimana, and that was created. Now, it showed like props on those because they were like almost like a pyramidal kind of shape, right? But they also talked about, they showed some props on there, and then it showed some that did not. And those are the ones that are supposed to be mercury spinning at a field, and it gave you anti-gravitics and stuff like that. Again, what guy was it? He was I think he was an ex-physicist or something like that. He says, and he was something else too. I forget what it was. But he says, anything you can dream up has already been done. So when you see things like Star Trek and all the new Star Treks, that is, it's probably true. You can almost bet on it, right? Now, I'd have to see that myself, but that doesn't mean it's not. And with the technology we got today, yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. Not at all. Uh, 786 Auto, you said, I think the point is what make Germans to try to make a flying disc. It must be, they must see it someplace it is very hard to control in flight. The only thing I could think of is they can actually control the antigravitics. In other words, if they like propel it, like they put it in a certain direction, it'll fly in that direction. So in other words, they can kind of aim that anti-gravity, and that's maybe what that ball is. They can literally just change it anywhere they want to at any given time just by switching it. It's almost like putting magnets together. You can make it repel, depending on where you put it on that, around that particular repelling magnet. You could put it and it'll repel it.
So maybe that's the way that thing works. I don't know. Just a guess, of course. Doug Trieber, you said one thumbs down. You must be a YouTuber with the least thumbs down. Yeah, I get them every now and then. They invade the channel every now and then. I think it's hilarious. We got 4 now, but we had 1 earlier. And like I said, they followed me up on the Odyssey, and I don't really care. Again, it's like, to them, YouTube, they look at it as like an interaction. And that's what they want to see. They want to see interaction there. So the more interaction there is, the more thumbs up there is. The way they have like an algorithm, they go, okay, this channel's getting attention. So they think by dropping the thumbs down, they think they're hurting the channel. They're not. They're actually helping the channel. So I don't care. But it's just sad that they don't have a life. And they're just being spiteful. Man, give me a thumbs down, man. I don't care. I mean, you never hurt me in any way, shape, or form. But they see it as a... they see it as an interaction with the channel. They don't care. It helps them. It helps me, rather. I don't care. Of course, I do care about the thumbs up. I mean, because that's always good. But it doesn't hurt with the thumbs down. Let's see. Let me see. What did that one say? The Extra 78, you said, don't think they came up with this stuff. Oh, I guess you were saying on their own. Just 15 years before they could fly biplanes make no sense. Well, again, we have like the military side, and then of course we just have our everyday lives, and you and I, what we go about. We see jet airplanes, we see props back in the day, we see supersonic jets, subsonic, we see all of that, right? I remember going back in the day, this is in the 80s, and it was in the late 80s, that my brother was in the Air Force, and he was in there for like 11, 12 years. He was an aircraft mechanic, and went and seen the A-10 Warthogs. They can fly 55 miles an hour up to 60 miles an hour. So I thought that was pretty cool. You can actually hover over somebody on the highway, and they're really, really cool little planes. And, of course, the F-16s at the time, really, really wild the way they're built. They literally, it's kind of like the SR-71. Well, it's a spy plane back in the day, but now it's retired and everything else. Where he'll tell you right out, all of these planes, when they brought them out on the tarmac, in other words, you fill them with oils, gear fluids, whatever you needed to fill, and they would leak all over the ground. Fuel would leak all over the ground. But the second that thing got up in the air, and because of the friction, it would literally expand and all the leaks would stop. So they were built loosely for that reason, right? But then, like I said, as it got warmer, because due to the friction, it would seal everything up. So that was pretty funky. I've read about that. I've seen a video on that too. Mark Jeffrey. You said that the book named "Truth About the Wunderwaffe," is a good read about the Third Reich's weapons of last resort. Yeah, they had some crazy crap going on there. Jim, you said, Chris, have you heard of the fake war plan with UFOs created by us? Yeah, I've heard about the same thing, and they're basically saying it's to control the public, to keep us in fear and want our government to protect us. Again, let's go ahead and repress the public and put our thumb down on them. I mean, unless they're going to start blowing people off the ground and out of the sky, I don't see. I can see it putting fear in people. I can see that. But on the other side of the talk, I'd be out there going, is that ours or somebody else's? I mean, because we've seen so much of it. To me, you'd be desensitized because of all the stuff we see, unless it's something super ominous. And what if it's a hologram and not solid? Is it still going to be enough to freak people out? Or are they going to be actual UFOs? Because I heard Stephen Grass talk about that too. Is that true, and is that going to happen? I don't know. It's just another way to put fear into people. That's all it is. Yep. Noodles, what's going on? Didn't even see in there. He said Wonder Weapon. Pretty much. That's what it stands for, basically. This thing jumped on me here. Hold on. Tony Gibbs, you said, we went from Kitty Hawk to the moon in less than a single lifetime. 65 years about? If the government is 50 years ahead, one can only imagine. I heard they were like 300 to 400 years ahead of us. And it would not surprise me. And if they did, come on. They've got all of this stuff. We can only dream to think about. Because again, and I've said this a million times, we are humans who are always trying to press the envelope. We're always trying to improve. And I do this in my own home. Like, it's like, if we're just like, well, the TV's old, why don't we go ahead and upgrade it? Or like I'm trying to, expand on this computer here. And I told you guys I went from 60 gigs to 80 gigs, got another 4 terabyte hard drive to make sure we get solid work here and get everything working right and retune basically the CPU, overclocking kind of thing, slightly. When you guys said bad boy, whatever. But the thing is, if you're going to put it in high demand, it better be working right? We don't want lousy pictures and live looking, look all distorted and everything else. We don't want that. We want it crystal clear, want it working right. So you got to do what you got to do to improve it. So, once they get this thing, it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys remember, what was it, back in was it the 80s or the 60s? I mean, they had the blue flame. Remember that was like a rocket car and they broke the sound barrier? I think it might have been the 60s. It was on the salt plains of Nevada. And they broke the land speed record as well as the sound barrier. So interesting. Of course, it was only a straight, just ride, but still broke it on the ground. We're always pushing the envelope. Can we make it faster? We can make it more, can we make steel more harder, but flexible? Can we do it? Anything you could possibly think of, they've done it. They pretty much thought about it. That's a great question, Terry Kelling. You said, Chris, hey, Chris, if you were given the chance to be the person who makes first contact with ET, would you, given you didn't know what their intentions are? I don't know. That's a great question. Because obviously you'd be nervous and probably crap yourself, but you'd want to know. It depends on how they approach you, too, right? So, I mean, if you were like Travis, what was his name? Travis Walton, was it? And then, of course, they made that movie, Fire in the Sky. It's supposed to be about a true events that happened to him. If I was abducted like that and thrown on a table, yeah, you probably don't have a choice, or because you're pretty much there and locked down. But if they came to me and said to me, we want to talk to you and share our knowledge and everything else, you go, okay. And they seem to be friendly and not want to eat me or probe me. So I guess I can go with them. But I don't know. That is a great question, because the first part is going to say run like hell and never turn back. And the other part saying, now if I seen something like this coming out of the sky and it wasn't like a Nazi thing, it was more modern than that, I don't know. That's a great question. What would you have done, Terry? Would you do the same thing, just hightail it out of there, or would you, would you go with it, Martin Penray said, A10 Warthogs are awesome. They are. For a little plane, they're stout little things, right? It's like they're all engines and seat. There's 2 seats and an engine. It's just funny as hell. But cool-looking planes. Yeah, Joe Night Fury, yep. The Blue Flame Land Racer. Exactly. And what they did was they broke the sound speed record, or the land speed record with that, and broke the sound barrier with it. So, again, and that was back then. Oh, that's what we do. We try to improve, and that's all there is to it, right? Let me see. Let me see. This thing just jumped on me here. Tony Gibbs. I don't even want to meet vegan ETs. Yeah, it might be the way to go, yeah. Yeah, if they come off their spacecraft and they're eyeing you up and down from head to toe and they're going, snack, you may want to run. It's probably not a good thing, yeah. P. Ferrero says, Bob Lazar was right on. I totally agree. Again, we only think we know it as far as the public-wise, right? But I think this military is just absolutely awesome and knows exactly what's going on. And that's why I love anything about this stuff, because when you think about it, and this is back in the day, you know they're going to have something astronomically awesome now. It's just got to be pretty cool. Joe Knifer, you said, I think that was in the 70s, and I think you may be correct on that, Joe. I think you are. Douglas D, you said, I always had a feeling Bob Lazar was a hybrid space alien because his upper lip was always look weird to me. Well, I mean, the guy's very intelligent. He's actually a scientist. Like I said, he's got a video where he built his own, I think it was a nitrogen car, I think it was. A hydrogen, I'm sorry. Where he had his own solar array that would actually produce this and stuff like that, and separated, oxygen and water and all this other good stuff. And he had 3 tanks in the back of it was like a mid-'80s Corvette type thing, and really, really cool. I mean, the guy is genuine as far as a scientist. They tried to basically erase him, say he didn't work in certain places, all kinds of stuff, right? So why would you go out of the way to make somebody vanish or not basically be a nobody all of a sudden if he had nothing to do with this? In other words, you thought everything about him was trash and it was false. You wouldn't do that. You'd be like, this guy's a clown. And that would be the end of it. You wouldn't try to erase him basically from society unless, of course, you had a motive to do that. I mean, that's all there is to it, right? Jay McGuffey, don't forget about the yummy Neanderthals. Oh, yeah. I don't know if they taste very good, but they're probably good and fat, though. I lived off the land and the animals, so yeah, you never know. Linda Borum says, I hope my children or my grandchildren get to experience space. I think they will. Because, the technology is like, just jumping by leaps and bounds, guys. You know that. So the science, is just like boom, 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 taking huge steps. Not these little steps, but huge steps. So you can imagine what they've got now. Let's see. Charlene, you said no reptilians or Nephilim for me. Oh, come on. Especially the Nephilim. They like to mate with girls from Earth. That could be pretty scary. But in reptilians, yeah, they just probably just eat you for dinner. I wouldn't worry about it. Hell, you only live once, right? What was that old thing that used to say YOLO or something like that? Thought that was a really goofy saying, but regardless. Mr. Mr. Seven Digit, what's going on? The reason why the Nazis were as bold as they were could possibly be attributed to them having the backing of an off-world species and also to control the development of the human race. Could very well be. Very well be. Even if you can get your hands on technology, any kind of technology, right? And it could be used either or. It's like the internet. You can use it for all good, or you can just be on nothing but garbage sites, right? So it's a choice. It's like the Nazi sign you see there. That's not the original sign. That's not what it was made for. It's Hitler and all this other BS and everything else, and everybody, it's bad, bad, bad. No. Ancient civilization said it's enlightenment, it's a sign for enlightenment and, beauty and all that other positive stuff. Only them turned it into basically trash, and everybody sees a swastika right off the bat. They think, what? Nothing but bad news. So, but back in the day, they had these swastikas on ancient carvings, and it stood for enlightenment, happiness, and all the positive good stuff that goes along with it. It wasn't that. So, and I don't blame people for looking at it and go, okay, that's just bad news. And I don't blame them. But it was them guys that turned it into trash. Doug Driver says, if they say we've come to serve humanity, run. I don't know if they're serving humanity. But if they say we're going to serve you, yeah, we're gonna have you as a main plate. Yeah, you may want to run. Yeah, we come to serve you up. We came to serve you. Let's see. And Jay McGuffey says, my youngest loves space physics, nature. She's 12, far advanced than we were at their age. That's awesome. Good for her. maybe she'll be one of the ones that like progress big time and like achieve like greatness. I'm hoping that'd be awesome. Oh, shout out to her. Mimi React said, yeah, they ruined that symbol. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. H-Toss1AV. I didn't even see you jumping there. Man, this thing must have jumped big time on me. Even the Native Americans has a swastika. I think I've seen that, but I've seen it more. I'm trying to remember if it was like in India or where it was at. But they had it like to one of the gods, and it had the swastika just above their head and everything else. And this goes back thousands of years, guys. This has nothing to do with these Nazis and stuff, right? Yeah, Youngster 78, the swastika was found all over the world. And this is predates, long before the Nazis, right? They turned it into trash. I don't see the swastika as them. I see it as enlightening and enlightenment stuff like that. I don't know if I get a tattoo of it, though, because people are like, oh, yeah, he's one of those supremacists, from right off the bat, right? Because, again, that's what they turned it into, so that's what first thing people think of. Jay, you said she regressed a little after a year of pretty much homeschool. It's crazy just going back now, and they're loving it. Oh, yeah. Kids, when they don't stay connected, they're just it's kind of ourselves, If we don't socialize, we turn into it's just not good. Either way, it's, so you got to have that social thing, and that's why I'm glad we have these Friday night hangouts and stuff like that, which will be closing soon. We'll be getting out of here because I got a busy day tomorrow, so that's going to be like insane. That'll suck too. So, but you got to get it done, right? So, yeah, I mean, a lot of these ancient civilizations talked about a lot of this stuff. Like I said, the Mahabharata talks about like these giant, I said this before, cities in the sky that were fighting against each other with weapons brighter than the sun and stuff like that. I said that. I said, and when I first heard about that, I said, did they have like sci-fi writers back in the day? Really? I don't think so. But again, we don't know. I doubt it. The only thing I can say is that, they saw something and they found it imperative to write about it. And I think they did, right? Josh D said India had it like Germanic tribes was sun symbol. Hitler turned around the hooks in it and one of the oldest symbols of yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Yep. Tony Gibbs, he says swastika is an ancient symbol, and as was the wings, etc. Yep, absolutely. Noodle says India symbol is reversed. Nazi is right twisted. Yep, absolutely. Let me see. Let me see here. Just got a message here, guys. Just going to go ahead and... Okay. Phone's going to act stupid. Gotta love technology. Let me see. Yep. You're right about that. You said read the Veda, the oldest book known to man. Yep, that's exactly true too, Josh D. Let's see. New Chaotic Order. What's going on? Just jumping in there, but I love that TV show, Resident Alien. We're going to be heading out of here pretty soon. Let me see. Yeah, you're right. H-Toss1AV, you said the eagle symbol goes back to at least Roman legions. And again, a lot of the symbolism we see today was used by ancient civilizations to go back thousands of years. So, when you see these new concocted up there, like the swastika and stuff like that, it's trash. I don't look at it like people go, like I said, they reacted, oh my God. Now, in today, like I said, if you were to wear down your jacket or something like that, people would probably want to punch you in the face because you shouldn't have that on there. At least that's the way they perceive it because of what it's been turned into. But if you put it and you have like, let's say you have like a circle around it and actually says it around there, enlightenment and, you know, whatever you want to put there, they might go look at it like, what? But that was the true reason of the swastika and other, like you said, like the eagle symbol and stuff like that, right? The Geoman 46 says, check out the photos on ISN 777 lore of one Navy recovering alien ship with divers. It's crazy. Even has pic of that Navy ship, big magnets that went. Huh. I don't think I've ever seen that. It's pretty cool. Charlene, you said, Chris, thank you for all what you do. No, thank you guys for being here. And it's, with you guys here, this is what makes the channel. I've said that many a times. I don't care who makes a channel up. I don't care. It's the subs that make the channel, right? And it's a good conversation. It's just awesome. And like I said, Bobby Pentland, you said, Chris, you're the best. Thanks for sharing this. See you next time. Thank you, Bobby. I do appreciate that. It means a lot. And, you know, thank you for your support. As always, it's always appreciated. You guys know that. And it just helps the channel. It doesn't hurt it. It just helps it. Again, improving things. You know, whether it be the computer, making sure we stay online, all kinds of things. It just helps us stay there. And it helps a huge deal. You can't even imagine. Because again, I mean, I can go back to an old computer that ain't worth 3 cents and I'll never get anything done right. So, you know, again, this was actually donated to me to begin with from Sarah a couple of years back, and very thankful for that. And so we just improved on it. And like I said, it was a great computer right out of the box. Absolutely awesome. It's got not the latest CPU because it's an i7 9700, not the 99, which is the latest CPU. But it might as well be. And because we tweaked it and went from 16 gigs to 80 gigs, we can multitask now without having issues, stuff like that. So it's just awesome. And it helps. It all helps. Your Highness, thank you very much for your support. It is appreciated with the dancing pear and the little blow thing, whatever he's got there. I do appreciate it. That's cool. Let me see here. Where did that one go? Let me see. And again, thank you, James, for your support and everybody's support, really. Because here's the thing. It's just cool just to have people supporting the channel saying, Chris, great job, loving the videos. That's support. I mean, that's it. So that's awesome, you know, and it means a lot to me. It really does. You know, Sarah Music, you said, thank you, Chris. Well, thank you guys for all being here. Again, I can't say enough. I mean, sometimes I get worried that I'm not going to make it here in time because it's got so much going on, especially we work today, of course, every day we work, 6 days out of the week. So it's really tough, and sometimes you're like, man, I got to get this done so I can get on there. And I love the idea you can actually just, you know, spend some time with you guys, show some pictures, go over certain topics. And, you know, we got some cool ones coming up, too, for Mars and the moon. And, you know, the thing about it, like when we show this right here, this is, like I said, this was a good catch in this guy's photo here because that was just cool. And like I said, that was just cool. So we know that they're doing these things to these photos. So right off the bat, you know, I get every now and then go, oh, they're not doing nothing to these photos. They're not manipulating. You're crazy. Okay. Maybe I am, but you can explain that to me. And I'm talking about the naysayers, of course. So, yeah. I mean, it's right there. Couldn't get any more blatant than that. But like I said, Jesus Breaking or Jesus Hernandez actually posted it. So he gets the props for this. Not me. I didn't find this. And again, of course, we got these little crazy little dust devils. And you can sell it. That's great quality there. Yeah. And again, I understand why they're doing it with this right here. You can see it actually following the twister with the camera on board the turret arm, but it's like they're taking a lot better photo or video of it through that, and it's showing through the mass cam behind it, which doesn't make any damn sense, right? Just crazy. I don't know. it just makes no sense to me as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, James Craig, and again, thank you, sir, for your support. It is appreciated. He said, happy St. Patrick's Day and weekend, everyone. Yep. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I know I'm going to. After we're done work tomorrow, which is insane. But yeah, so awesome. Oh, can't get this thing. There it goes. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Always appreciate you guys know that. Again, for all the support, much love to every one of you guys. I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm glad we can have these conversations. Yeah, I mean, it's just awesome. And, like I said, we put that other platform up there. If you haven't been on odyssey.com yet, check it out. I left it in the last video, the link again, so you guys can check that out. And I think we were up to it was 100. No, it was over 100 people. I think it was over 200 followers so far, which is awesome. If you haven't had a chance, just jump up there and follow the channel. And, we may start having discussions up there. We might be doing it back and forth here and doing a little bit more because besides these here, I love doing these because this is like, boom, right there in your face. And I'm not sure even how to go live up there yet. Somebody said, hey, go live. I'm like, I don't see the button here. I can go right here, the top of the screen right here and go live, but yet I don't see it up there. So it's something I'll have to look into. But, yeah. Anyway, guys, before you leave, please hit the thumbs up. Always appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much for being here. Much love to every single one of you guys, all you ladies and gents, all you usual suspects. Again, thank you. Can't say it enough. And like I said, we'll be rocking some more of these photos coming this week, so stay tuned. Anyway, guys, be safe. Have yourself a good weekend. We'll see you later. And what we'll do is we might even just leave this on here. What time is it? 8:08? Yeah, I'll wait until 15 minutes pass. You guys can chat it up a little bit. So it's like 8 past right now, the hour. Yeah, we'll wait until about 15 past, and we'll go ahead and shut it down so you guys can do a little more chatting there. So anyway, guys, peace. We'll see you soon.